We're back on a Monday. Happy Monday. Happy President's Day. Happy day after Valentine's Day. Happy Monday. Unless you live in the upper Midwest. Actually, I shouldn't even say that because like the majority of the country right now is just getting kind of pounded with this winter weather stuff. It's a little ridiculous. Snow in Texas. Snow in Texas. It's ridiculous. We were just talking about it last week. Like, Texas doesn't seem like a bad idea. All of a sudden they're getting snow. I'm like, maybe not. Maybe not. See, we already got people jumping on, watching on the YouTube, waiting for an hour. That's dedication. It's dedication. Well, you must be overseas. Okay. You must not be in the continental United States because 3 p.m. Central Time, that's when we launch. And the show, big one planned for today. Recurring guest, Dr. Jay LaGuardia is going to be on. He's coming up in under 10 minutes now. Talk to Dr. Jay about a whole bunch of stuff that's going on. I wonder how he spent his Valentine's Day. Did a bunch of romantic stuff. Lots of love. Dr. Jay is on from Austin. Speaking of Texas, from Austin, Texas. Austin, Texas-based rock trio, Empty Trail. We are going to have Rick Lambert's going to be on here coming up later on this hour. And longtime friend of the show, this show, my former radio show, me personally, great friend, Blacklight District is going to be on the program coming up later on today. So lots to talk about with everybody today. It just seems like we just have so many things going on. This, and I'm sure I'll bring this up towards the end of the show. I know we got Dr. J coming up here in just a bit. But this was released from The Sun, which I guess you can take that with a grain of salt. And but I just find it interesting. Usually you gotta go to outlets like this to find things that are like, oh, maybe this is the truth. Because sometimes mainstream media won't pick up on these stories. But in a stunning admission, the Pentagon admits it's been testing wreckage from UFO crashes, and the findings may change our lives forever. This is according to a release from the Pentagon. Apparently, a researcher wrote to the Defense Intelligence Agency requesting details of all UFO material, which they hold as a result of any tests, and results of any tests they've been carrying on it. So apparently he did get a letter back from the DIA, Defense Intelligence Agency, basically confirming that the Pentagon admits to holding and testing anomalous debris from UFOs. It's one of those things that you feel like should be a bigger news story. You shouldn't have to go to The Sun to get this kind of story. You shouldn't have to. So they show a couple of the documents that were sent back and forth between the Defense Intelligence Agency in Washington, D.C. and this researcher. Apparently, according to the release, they have been able to learn some things about the materials of construction, which hold tremendous promise as futuristic materials will change our lives forever. He said he first made this request in 2017 of the Pentagon. It took them 3 years, but they finally got him some information, at least confirming the fact that they are and have done research on UFOs, or now I think they're being called, what is it, UAPs. And some of it, they are saying, could be actually tied back to the Roswell incident back in 1947. Of course, that was kind of the big story that launched up the whole kind of UFO frenzy was the Roswell, New Mexico thing, and then Area 51 and all the other stuff. So interesting. Again, this is according to the Sun, the UK Sun. So I don't want to say take it with a grain of salt, but these are some pretty elaborate looking documents that that this researcher received from the Defense Intelligence Agency. Aliens, man. Aliens. They're here. They're here. Let's see. We got Weller. Giving her, buddy. Thanks for tuning in. Appreciate it, man. What else we got on here? Godrib 333. Hello. Hello. And thanks for tuning in on the Twitch. We are streaming live on Twitch. If you don't have the Twitch app, you can do it on your browser, twitch.tv/No Limit Cooper. That is our Twitch page. Make sure you give a follow. We're also on YouTube. Got Gaming Witch CWSYT is tuning in on the YouTube. Thank you. And in Facebook as well, where Katie is. We are aliens. We are. We're inbreeding with aliens. Who knows? I mean, at this point, is anything out of the realm of possibility? I don't think so. All the other crap that's going on, I think that the fact that the alien story is really being, I don't know, pushed and nobody's paying attention to it. That's how they get the information. Oh, yeah, we told you about that years ago. During the middle of a pandemic, and not everything was locked down, but it was all focused on politics and travel requirements and testing and anal swabs. Maybe that's the aliens. I think we just made that correlation right there. Aliens, anal swab testing for COVID-19. I think it's all interlaced, people. I think it's all interlaced. But no, that was an interesting story from over the weekend. President's Day today. Up here in the Great Midwest, a lot of schools closed down today because I believe the morning wind chill temperature was somewhere around 40 below zero. Somewhere around 40 below zero was what we all got to wake up to this morning, which is just fabulous. It was like, it's only like 24 below air temperature. So really, it's nearly shorts weather when you get to that point. We are going to be, I know like the rest of the country is dealing with a bunch of stuff too. Like I said, snow in Texas, snow all the way from Texas all the way up, kind of out to the Northeast. But it's going to be like 29 on Sunday. So in a week's period, a week's time, that's what, almost 60-degree temperature swing. For us here, it's going to be basically shorts weather. So I look forward to getting the shorts back out. Malaysia, it's crap. It's over in Malaysia. We got Malaysia in the house watching on the YouTube. See, the show has gone global. You know why it's gone global? Because Dr. Jay Lagarde is on the show. That's why it's gone global, my friends. Dr. J.
What's up, Coop? How are you, buddy?
Surviving the elements. It's been a little chilly the last week and a half, Dr. J. You know this.
It's what makes Wisconsinites hardy, my friend.
Is that what it is? I feel like I've discussed this before, but if you venture up here, spring is beautiful. Summertime is amazing. There's things going on because you literally have to fit it in to like 3 months to guarantee yourself some decent weather. Fall is really picturesque. People love fall here. But the reason that I think those are maybe so enjoyable is because you literally have to go into near survival mode to get through 4 months of winter. It's ridiculous.
So true. So true. It's just, it's a mindset, man. It's a mental toughness. It's what it's all about.
Yeah, I think it does. There is a certain sense of hardiness, I think, that goes on. I think you do find There. How about now?
I got you.
Okay, good. Yeah, like I said, the internet was frozen. The internet got too cold. Didn't want to be a part of the melee today. But no, it is one of those things that I think you embrace as a Wisconsinite. Anybody who has to deal with this in the Midwest, it just really makes you appreciate when you see temperatures in the 30s, and you're like, I can't wait for this warm up.
It's the reason we travel. Got to get out of here. Got to reset.
Hey, how was your Valentine's Day? You and the missus do fun, loving, romantic stuff, flowers, and
No, man, I don't buy flowers that are 3 times the cost. If you wait till the 15th, they're back to normal cost. So I know for some of your listeners, they may like, what a cheap bastard. But my wife is incredibly practical. And no, we had a great Valentine's weekend. And after 33 years, man, you just got to keep finding ways to keep the music playing.
Yeah, and I think not buying into the hallmarkness of the holiday. And I did. I made the mistake of buying flowers the day before, and not even really thinking about it much. I was like, oh, it can't be too expensive. And then then they printed out the receipt. And I was like, oh, it feels like there was a substantial markup on the day before Valentine's Day. How does that work out?
One year I purchased roses on Valentine's Day, and my wife got the credit card bill and almost killed me. She goes, "You're never doing that again." Said, okay, I'll figure out. I mean, I don't need a specific Hallmark day to remind me that I've got to acknowledge just how awesome she is.
Oh, absolutely. I'm glad you guys had the day to spend together. It wasn't much to do outside, but a good day to spend indoors and catch up on stuff, and plenty of things to catch up on with you as we do and I think it's all kind of tied in when you talk about temperatures and weather. Much of the country right now going through a lot of weather related issues, and so there's going to be obviously some challenges in people getting out, getting fresh air, staying fit, working on their immune system and stuff. Do you have any, when it is so cold out and when you do have issues with transportation? I know they were showing video from, I think it was in Austin? It was somewhere outside of Austin where they had a layer of ice and then they got the snow. So when there's challenges, what do you recommend to people to kind of keep themselves motivated to maybe do something indoors to keep their immune system on point? What are some things that you offer as advice to people who go, well, I can't go outside, so what should I do?
Well, the first thing I would start with is make sure you're staying properly hydrated, because in the winter, when it's colder out, we don't think we need to drink as much water. In fact, we need to drink just as much, if not more, because of all the dehydration. People who live in the northern climate can tell, but just by their skin gets really dry, and so we need more hydration to make sure that our body's functioning at full capacity, because over 80% of our body is made up of water. So hydration is essential. It doesn't have to be anything overly complex. It's just getting up, moving. There's a lot of great fitness apps. You can do home workouts. We have a home gym, so obviously that makes it convenient. But some kettlebells. Hell, you can even pick up a gallon jug of milk and use that as a weight, or tomato cans, or whatever the case may be. It's just it's moving and making sure that you just keep your body as functioning as possible until the weather turns nice, and then we get to go outside and start to enjoy the pleasures of being out in nature and feeling that sun on our skin.
that essential vitamin D that we need to up our doses of anyway, not just during these particular times, but all times. Get that vitamin D level up. Take some vitamin K with it, as Dr. J would recommend.
That's right.
Hydration is super important. I adopted this thing from Aubrey Marcus. I read his book, Own the Day. I think 2019 is when I read the book. I think it came out that same year. He's a former owner of On It supplement company out of Austin. Austin's getting a lot of love today. I don't know. It's weird that it's tying in a lot of places, but he had this this morning's kind of routine solution that he put together, and I've adopted it since then. So basically what I do is, like, before I go to bed at night, I'll get like a shaker bottle. I have probably more shaker bottles than a human being literally should own. I think I have a box of them down here too, just in case I run out. I don't know. I just things I have acquired. So I will take that, and I'll take, like, half a teaspoon of like pink Himalayan salt, and then a squeeze, like a quarter slice of lemon, squeeze it in there. In the morning, get up, it's room temperature, and I'll usually take that with the supplements that I take in the morning. And that seems to set off, outside of just there's some nutritional value to that pink Himalayan salt too, but really gets everything after hopefully 8 hours of good sleep functioning again. And I know a lot of people have a tough time getting their water intake throughout the course of the day, and it ends up not being water. It ends up being soda or something else to get them through the day. But I find if you start off with a really large quantity of water, really starts your day off in a much more hydrated manner than it does if you just kind of have that cup of coffee first, and then it's like, oh, I need to drink some water. And then when it's cold out, you don't feel like you need to. And then by the end of the day, you wonder why your urine looks like syrup.
It's true. Yeah. That's actually a really good routine. I do the same. I do a half a lemon, squeeze it in there with the Himalayan salt, anywhere from a quarter to a half a tablespoon. Particularly if you're on a low carbohydrate diet. Carbohydrates are hydrophilic, so your body retains water better. When you're on a low carbohydrate diet, we don't retain the water as well as we do. So therefore, our electrolyte balances, particularly our sodium potassium levels, can get altered. And so we need that to rebalance. And salt has gotten a really bad rap. If you're looking at table salt, sodium chloride, that's garbage. But if you're using a true pink or gray Himalayan sea salt, which I think has 84 different trace minerals in it, it's actually very, very healthy for you. And we need salt. We need sodium for normal cell function. So that routine with 20 ounces of water, room temperature, if you can. You should really avoid cold water because it'll affect digestion, particularly in the upper GI tract. So if you use that room temperature water, helps with digestion, helps with bowel function and elimination, of course. Brain fog from sleeping helps with brain fog as well too, and just get your systems up and running. Particularly if you're a morning workout person, which I am. Making sure you're properly hydrated before you go exercise is important to maintain or reduce the risk of injury, muscle pulls, strains, that kind of thing.
Do you, how do you measure your water intake throughout the course of the day? I'm sure you probably have it down to a routine. I know you see people sometimes carrying around a gallon of, looks like a milk jug. They carry that around throughout the course of the day. Are there ways for people to kind of really make sure they're getting a proper amount of hydration in their body? Because if you start your day off with that one thing, and then the day can kind of progress like, well, I feel like I had enough. But do you have a good way of keeping on how much water you're intaking throughout the course of a day?
There's a couple ways to measure and check. The most simple way is just assessing your urine. Your urine should be basically clear, maybe a slight yellow tinge. If it's any darker than that, you're dehydrated, which, by the way, up to 80% of our current population is chronically dehydrated. It's one of the most common reasons for accelerated aging. So, people have said to me, you age well, like you look a lot younger than your age. Hydration is the prime reason for that. Certainly there's other factors, but hydration is definitely a big part of that. Anywhere from 6 to 8 ounces per hour of water is another rule of thumb. And again, room temperature water is another good rule of thumb to maintain proper hydration. And here's the other thing that a lot of your listeners probably don't know. Most hunger pains are actually mass dehydration. So it's your body craving water, and we think it's food. So it's always good to have some water first, up to about a half hour before you eat. That will also help you maintain proper weight, because when you drink up to a half hour before you eat, your stomach's more full, you get fuller faster. So it's another one of those tricks to help you maintain a good, healthy weight and lifestyle.
No, I don't think you can't understate the importance of good hydration, and the room temperature thing. I always found interesting, because I think you, like when it's okay. So it's a little tough to determine right now, because even if you can leave your water out overnight, it's somehow, even if it's 70 degrees in your house, I'm like, this feels awfully cold. But during the summer, you're like, oh, I just want a nice cold glass of water, and you don't think about, you know, that there are the benefits of room temperature. Even drinking hot water can be beneficial to your system.
Yeah, there's a lot of research showing that just a hot cup of water um, also accelerates, increases your physiological response. You had mentioned before about coffee. I just read a study this past weekend that showed that drinking coffee before night, you should wait 90 minutes after you wake before you actually have your coffee.
Mm.
Uh, Coffee has a lot of health benefits, but it could start the diuretic portion, because remember, coffee is a diuretic, so it actually takes water out of your system. So you want to hydrate first, get those cells full of water, and then have your coffee after 90 minutes after you've been up.
Do you, I started doing this a little bit over the course of the summer. I used to be a huge coffee guy. I think especially when I was doing morning radio, I had the Bubba kegs. I used to have a Bubba keg, which I'm surprised my heart didn't explode at some point during that. But I kind of got into over the course of the summer is kind of the bulletproof coffee that has ghee in it, and it has some coconut oil, and it has we put a little collagen protein in there. Are you an advocate for any of that? Do you find the benefits? I know obviously there's some research into that, getting that healthy fat into your system in the morning, outside of having okay, there's a lot of things that are better than Pop Tarts to put into your body to get your day started. But there people tend to not tend, but you think of sugary cereals, you think of putting a couple scoops of sugar into your coffee. But the benefits of putting like a healthy fat into it, there's some research out there that says that can be beneficial for not just digestion, but also for how your brain starts to get riled in the morning.
Yeah, I had one of the world's preeminent experts on the ketogenic diet on recently on the podcast. Actually, it was probably last year. Maria Emmerich, who actually is from Wisconsin. She winters in Hawaii, so Maria's in Hawaii right now. So,
Smart.
she's real hardcore, and she is anti, but primarily because most coffees, the way that they're processed, have a lot of molds and toxins and pesticides. So unless it's really organic coffee, we just started with a new coffee brand. My wife just started, which is an organic brand, no mold, anything like that. But as far as the bulletproof coffee, if particularly any of your listeners are fans of fasting, which I am, intermittent fasting, I typically don't eat until about noon, unless I've had a really heavy workout in the morning and have to replenish and get some protein back in me. But what it does is, when you have either MCT oil or ghee or butter or coconut oil, you're able to maintain your fast, but yet get some calories, and you can maintain in the ketotic state. So you're burning fat as fuel, particularly if you work out in the morning. So you're utilizing the fat for fuel to burn, which obviously is a really good thing to do. So I like bulletproof coffee. I don't do it every day, but the days I'm going to fast, and then if I'm going, let's say I might do 2 or 3 days where I fast, where it's only water, tea, or coffee, definitely then.
We've talked a lot about, and these are some good things when we talk about like a morning routine and getting your day started and stuff. I know you have your set routine as far as making your the things that you want to accomplish throughout the course of the day. A meditation of sorts. I'm a morning meditation guy. What other key things? Because you do kind of feel like we're in what they call the doldrums of winter in Wisconsin. everything is cold, things are shut down. They close the schools down today. I'm like, back in my day, they didn't close the school when it got this cold. But are there other things that you do to get your day started, to really get yourself up on the right foot? Obviously, getting a workout in if you're a morning workout person. Other small anecdotal things people can add into their life to not only boost their immune system, but maybe their energy levels throughout the course of their day?
You and I have had a few conversations about, you've heard me say before, and I'll repeat it again. I believe right now the greatest pandemic we're in is the pandemic of fear.
Mm.
So many people are in a chronic state of stress. And what cortisol does to the body, a chronic state of cortisol. I mean, you and I, we don't have enough time to get into it today, but we could talk about it on a future episode. But cortisol is devastating. And your cortisols are impacted based on how you eat, move, and think. And so many people are in a chronic state of high stress right now that they have elevated cortisol levels. And so one of the ways that I teach through a process of think well is to set intention, is to shift your mindset. And you do that first thing in the morning you had mentioned meditation is a great way to do it, is really thinking about how you want your day to go. Think about the things you need to accomplish that day. How do you want to show up? What energy do you want to bring? What's the outcome you want to have? I visualize it. And I actually see myself in that particular event or experience or activity. And so it's not foreign to me when I'm there because I was already there. I put my mindset there and I know what the outcome is. So setting intention is very, very important, especially to help move away from all this negative thinking, all this fear-based. Another great way is an affirmation. I always start my day with an affirmation. An affirmation is a statement of intention. What is it that I'm working towards becoming, right? I am healthy, happy, abundant, and loving. And some people think it's kind of weird and kooky, and it is if you've never done it before, but it's no different than we talk to ourselves all day long, and it's just normal. But unfortunately, majority of the conversations we have internally are negative. They're disempowering thoughts. They're thoughts that undermine our ability to achieve and be successful. They undercut our ability to pursue opportunity. So you have to be intentional to shift and change that mindset. So that routine of starting the day, how do I choose to show up? What's my intention? What are the outcomes? Through the meditation or just sitting quietly, reading something good, always pick a new book I'm reading. It's a great way. And people don't have to spend a ton of time. They can take 15 minutes, they can take 20 minutes, they can take 5 minutes. That will make such a tremendous shift in their life. And I want to make this one additional point. Is just recently we've had a few people, young people, older people, attempt to commit suicide. There is so much psychological issues going on in our society because of what has happened over the last year. And the effects are really being felt now. And so this kind of work is more important than ever before. And if you know somebody who's struggling, these little helpful tips can make a huge, huge impact in their life and hopefully save a life.
Yeah, it's one of those things that it isn't getting enough attention. You and I have covered this topic on several occasions about during lockdowns and businesses closing, people losing jobs, having the kids home, having, being in an environment that, maybe you weren't necessarily built on. Maybe you excel being gone at work for 8 hours a day and your significant other is gone for 8 hours a day and you get about 6 total together. You're like, yeah, we're good with this. If you, and you had kids on top of it and trying to keep their education at a certain level during all this, which is a challenge in itself. The suicide rate, and there's been some statistics I know you've talked about on this program before. The increase is frightening, and a lot of it is because of this fear that everybody's going through because of what feels like sometimes insurmountable obstacles that are in people's way, whether it's, again, the loss of a job and it could just be paralyzing fear. If you really are down the rabbit hole of the narrative, you can get really, really scared. And maybe that cuts you off from human contact in a healthy way. Perhaps you get into an echo chamber, which I've seen a lot of especially on social media, a lot of echo chambers where it's a bunch of people kind of crying the same thing and yelling the same thing, and nobody's there with a differing opinion. It can be a very scary time for people. But I think implementing these things and reaching out. I mean, you hit the nail on the head with that. Reaching out to people when you see some signs of struggle or some abnormal behaviors, and you just, I think there are ways. I mean, remember the old phone call? People used to make those all the time. Used to pick up the phone and hear somebody's voice, like, wow, this is really cool. I think embracing some of the technology that's out there when you can be face to face in a Zoom sort of way with loved ones that are maybe farther away. I've been face to face house partying or Zooming with my mother as of late. She's up in Northern California. I'm sure she'll tell me what the temperature is when we chat tonight. And but I think that is important. That's a really important piece of this, getting this puzzle put back together, is being there for other people as they're struggling through all of this. And some of those things that you mentioned about getting your day started in a certain way, I think starts to build back, some of the layers that may have been torn down by all this.
Teen suicide, excuse me, teen suicide rates have never been higher. And just recently, a young gal we know at 12 attempted suicide because she's been isolated from her friends, no school. Could you imagine a 12-year-old feeling so hopeless and so helpless that her only out was through suicide? We really have to take a very serious, and I blame the people who've put these policies in place. We talk about, the effects of COVID, and they're real, although we can argue to the level and extent which they are. But we are missing a huge portion of this, which is having just a devastating effect and destroying particularly young people's lives. And we really need to self-check. It's time to start restoring some normalcy back to life. Otherwise, we need to hold these leaders personally accountable.
Absolutely. 100%. Because I think that there is even though the numbers are out there, like the real life stories, it's a real life story that you're talking about right there. That puts it in, I think, when you look at a bunch of so many numbers have been thrown at us over the last year. And nobody can really understand what they mean. Like, are they real? Are they fake? Are they hidden like they are in New York? Who knew? But I think peeling it back and hearing stories about things that are actually going on and being able to say, well, there's a clear reason why a 12-year-old would feel this way, or why those teen suicide rates are up, is because we didn't have to go through that. You didn't go through that. I didn't go through that. Nobody in power went through that. They all went through their schooling and learned that, and how to interact with other people. I mean, they're basically still learning how to talk at that age, and how do you socialize, social behaviors. And if you're stuck behind a monitor, or you're on your phone, and again, we can talk about some negative aspects of social media playing a part in that. Yeah, somebody needs to raise that conversation to a level where somebody can have some answers and say, well, here's what we're going to do to remedy this problem, because I think it is one of the bigger problems that COVID has had a major effect on, not because of COVID itself, but because of the policies that have been forced upon us, and in some places even worse.
Yeah, young people just don't have the emotional intelligence or the coping skills. And certainly if it's a stable home and there's two parents, they'll have more support. But we know that's not the typical household now. A lot of households are single parent, and the parent's out working, and the child is isolated all day long. They're supposed to be in school, and so when you put them in that situation without the emotional intelligence or the coping skills, it's a recipe for disaster that we have really got to get a grip on.
Dr. J, who are some of the authors, people that you look to for inspiration, motivation. You're one of mine. I mean, I go to your social media sites that you're still active on, the pages, not the personal stuff, because I know you're still on your sabbatical from the socials. But are there people out there that you, when you need that, I want to say quote, but you need that book recommendation or story, are there people that you go to get some positivity, even though, I mean, you're one of the more positive people I know, but are there others out there that you can recommend to go and check out, follow this person, get some worldly advice, maybe some inspiration, maybe some hope?
Yeah, I mean, I don't care who you are. We all need that network, whether it's a small network in which, our associations, or it is, from podcasts or books, authors, that kind of thing. I have a laundry list, but the people that inspire me is author Robin Sharma, who's just written incredible amount of books. Unfortunately, Dr. Wayne Dyer, who passed away not long ago. More recently is Darren Hardy. I'm a big fan of. Also, Eric Thomas. I love his no nonsense, no bullshit. You know what I mean? He calls it as it is. So there's a really good friend of mine, Cornell Thomas, who has Positivity 365. He is always putting inspirational stuff out there. There's a lot of great content. It's kind of like anything. What you follow on social media is what follows you. So as you start to seek these things out, all of a sudden, other stuff starts to show up in your feed, and that replaces all the negative stuff.
That's actually a great tool that people should maybe implore. I mean, you and I have talked about, like, don't be the person that gets up right away in the morning and jumps on social media and is there until they put their, until they go to bed at night. But it may be a good time, because it's so damn cold and you can't go anywhere, to really take an analytical look at what you have on your social media and who you're following and the pages and stuff, and utilize that unfollow button and find some of the people that you mentioned. I know there's David Goggins and Jocko Willink, guys that I look to on a daily basis. Go on and pick up their stuff, and then when you see something pop up, click on it, because how the algorithm works is if your eyeballs go to it, or if you click on that link, that is somewhere you're going to be directed, and you can start to fill the time when you are on social media with some more positive outlooks than the doom and gloom that sometimes tends to rule the roost on Facebook and Insta and stuff like that.
It's so true. It's so true. And there's a lot of them out there. There's a lot of people who are doing great work, and they're just incredible human beings with incredible messages. And it's something for me that I have to do every day as well too, because even though, I have an awesome environment and support system around me, doing my social media fast and news fast has been amazing, but you still have to put good stuff in. You have to plant that seed to nourish the garden.
No, I think it's great. Dr. Jay LaGuardia, it is powerpassionprosperity.com. Also is it tripplepnation.com or just tripplepn.com?
Yeah, it's trippleplife.com, powerpassionprosperity.com, which is the podcast, Power Passion Prosperity, with Dr. J.
Yeah, I got it up right here. I'm looking at every picture you have on here, by the way, because it's been scrolling through. It's really nice wherever you are. And I'm like, oh, look, there's the beach, there's the sunset. Oh, we'll get there, Dr. J. We'll get through the deep freeze, and we'll get back to the beautiful weather. I promise, man.
Sounds good.
Dr. J, take care of yourself. We'll catch you next week, my friend.
You bet. Take care.
Awesome. Dr. Jay LaGuardia right there, the Triple P podcast, Power Passion Prosperity podcast, host, best-selling author, entrepreneur, consultant. The dude does it all. Always good insight there. Take copious notes if you're on the program when Dr. J is on, because he's always got good stuff going on. It is Cooperville Live, and we are live on Facebook, YouTube, and on Twitch. Wherever you're following, make sure you share the video, get the word out. We're just going to keep building this thing as we move on. As I see, Rick Lambert is here. He is here. He is now. He's live.
What's up, Cooper? How you doing? Thanks for having me.
Hey, dude. Thanks for being a part of it. Are you down in Austin?
Yeah, in the snow tundra right now. It's a lot like Wisconsin.
I heard that you guys were getting snow, and I'm like, huh. There's some irony in this. You're talking.
Yeah, no. Check this out right here.
Oh, geez. Look at that. It does look like Wisconsin down there.
I'm actually from Wisconsin,
Oh, well,
so I ran away from it, but it followed me here.
so this is all your fault, actually.
Yeah, I know.
But you ran away from it, but it stayed here because we had, we're
Yeah.
in the middle of like a wind chill warning, and we've already got the snow. But I see that it's spreading its roots down in Austin, which I'm sure you're super excited about.
Yeah. Well, I have kind of missed the snow, so it's nice to see the snow. But it'll last for a couple days. Who knows?
Yeah.
Maybe longer. Maybe this is a new Austin now, a new winter Austin.
See, this is what happens. You get all those, you move from California, and then you start, you move away from Wisconsin, and then you move to California, and then
Yeah.
all California people move to Austin, and then the snow follows. So I don't know.
It's all turning into Wisconsin.
It is. Empty Trail is the band. Thank you for reaching out on Insta and wanting to jump on the show. Excited to talk to you guys. Gave me a chance to hit up the website and discover some of your music and love your story, man. So tell me about you first getting into music. Like, was there an artist? Was there a band that you were like, yeah, this is something I think I want to pursue?
It seems like the cliche answer for rock music.
Oh, we got Rick locking up a little bit there. That cell service. See, they got the snow down in Austin. Locks everything up. We'll pull him out and get him back on. Oh, there he is. As he's back up and moving. There you go.
Sorry about that. Must have some bad signal here.
That's the snow.
Yeah, it's the snow. It's just nothing works right now. Everyone's losing power here, actually.
Yeah, I heard that.
And yeah, no hot water, so no showers. Well, cold showers, but. So first band, I'm sorry, the first band, for me, I know it's cliche, but for me, it would have to be Metallica. That was the first band that I heard that really sealed the deal for rock music for me, for being like, I really want to do that. Band after that, which I guess is kind of cliche, jump from that, was Megadeth, actually. It was like the thrash thing for me.
I think when you have two iconic bands, like you just mentioned, I would love to see, and they have, because there's been bands that have come up and they've said, yeah, absolutely, it was Metallica, it was Kill 'Em All, it was Ride the Lightning, it was the first time I heard the Black Album, for those who are a little bit later on down the spiral of Metallica. But how much inspiration they had, and how many bands that how many kids at some point they inspired to become musicians and pick up a guitar and learn to thrash. And I don't think it's cliche at all, man. I think when you have the best out there, that's everybody wanted to be Jordan too,
Yeah, I mean, it is inspiring. I mean, just to see a band get that big, a metal band get that big, is amazing. And I remember put it on the map.
Yeah. When MTV was MTV and they played music videos for like that 6-month period of time when they did that, it was crazy, because you did have it was pop dominated. Hip hop started to become a big influencer. You did have a little bit of, you had Headbangers Ball, and then you had some Nirvana stuff came out. When the Black Album came out, you saw even MTV, for as mainstream as it was, all of a sudden embracing all of this rock music, and obviously really spawned a big boom in rock radio. And that is I think a big, you can attribute that to the fact that the Black Album was as popular as it was, that they like, oh yeah, Metallica. Yeah. Like everybody knows who Metallica is. And they were a thrash metal, they're a thrash metal band. Who would have thunk?
Yeah, absolutely. It was just I guess the golden era of that type of music, rock music, metal music.
So tell me about escaping Wisconsin, running away from Wisconsin, which I've thought about the last 10 days. We've been not above zero. I'm like, doesn't sound like such a bad idea, but escaping Wisconsin, what brought, I know you were out in California for a while. What brought you out to the West Coast?
Yeah, I was, music. I wanted to continue to pursue music. I wanted to start a band in Los Angeles. So moved to LA. I was only there for 3 years. Recorded the first EP called Obscured, which you really can only find on Empty Trail's Bandcamp at this point. And then after that, decided I didn't really want to stay in Los Angeles and moved to Austin. So I think the move had to do with just, I felt it was so saturated, so dominated, like right in LA. As much as it's great energy, I think, to like start a band, I just felt like I want somewhere that's big but not so intense. at least to start out. So here I am in Austin, and it's snowing.
And it's Wisconsin-esque a little bit down there. But tell me about, I mean, I've heard such great things about Austin. There seems to be a real big push for Austin right now. I know, you know, when Rogan moved down there, and then Elon Musk moved down there, and then you have all these other, you know, people from California trying to get out of California, running away from California and its California ways, I'm guessing. Austin seems like it's a hot spot right now. Have you felt
Really
it
is.
down there?
Yeah, definitely. It's definitely the hot spot. It's something where everyone's moving to. And I guess in kind of a dim way, everyone's moving here and kind of kicking out some of the musical venues, especially now with the pandemic.
Yeah.
Sadly. But yeah, it's got a cool vibe to it. If anything, it's kind of turning into Los Angeles. Like we said, I see that in some ways, I think. So, but I dig it. I'm glad to be here.
What's that been like? I know a lot of bands that the biggest part of the thing that they love doing, you know, obviously when the first time you saw Metallica, you know, on a stage, performing in front of a bunch of people, that energy of a crowd and a live show. What has the last year been like without that capability of you guys getting out and doing shows?
It's weird. I mean, I think the pandemic's just been weird to everybody. I mean, it's weird being in a band and not really be able to play for people live. You know, like, is it a band right now? But that's why, you know, everything's just been online focused. There's definitely many ways, and I would wager to bet bigger ways to connect with more people online than you could in just a venue. Different experience, of course. But you know, we're still trying to do like a live stream, maybe as of late, but just staying connected with fans online. But it is weird not to be able to play live. I'm sure a lot of bands would agree with that.
Yeah, because I mean I'm not going to give an exact percentage, but 80% of the reason you get into it, there's the writing process, there's the recording process, you know, but touring, being on the road, I mean, the old grassroots way of meeting fans and gaining new fans. Hey, let's go to this show. Empty Trail is playing down here at this place.
Yeah.
It's a weird thing to have taken away, and not just that, but the effect that it has on, I'm sure, some amazing venues down in Austin. Now there's venues up here, there's venues across the country that may be a long time, even after things open up, that they see the light of day again, just because of how detrimental this has been to the industry. But you know, you got to hold out hope, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, sadly, it's like hearing all these iconic venues here in Austin closing their doors. I mean, I guess it's like kind of what do you do right now? But I don't know. We'll see where the world goes. I guess I'm still intrigued, and when it does open up, how it will open up. How is everything going to open up again?
Do you have anything open down there? I mean, if you guys, you know, went through, I'm sure there's, you know, a laundry list of protocols and things that you could do, and social distancing. Is there any place that is open where that you could go and play, or is it
Yeah.
red
Yeah,
tape?
I mean, there's a couple places. There's actually a place that we really love in Austin called Come and Take It Live. I know they're doing shows now. I'm not sure exactly what the protocols are, although I see people sitting down in seats, which hasn't been a thing, and they're 6 feet apart. And yeah, so a couple of venues, and I guess some bars that claim that they're restaurants as well can play some live music.
Right.
So,
what have you done to kind of you know, you talked a lot about being interactive on social media. I think that's huge, to embrace that, to keep that connection with the fans. And you guys got a great following on your social media sites. Besides that, besides being as one-on-one as you can with your fan base, what have you guys been doing during all of this? Has there been some writing that's going on? Is there what kind of things help you pass the time while you're not able to go out and do a tour?
Yeah. Well, definitely a lot of writing. So we're kind of geared up. Want to release an EP soon. We're thinking like 5 to 6 songs. Hasn't been scheduled quite yet. So a lot of new music, experimenting in that regard. And then personally, a lot of kind of partnerships with other people on YouTube, with other things and businesses on Instagram, just trying to be creative to connect with people in a different way and kind of help get our music heard. Kyle's probably going to come in was he in the show yet, or he's coming in later?
He's going to be on in like 15 minutes.
So like Kyle from Blacklight District, I mean, we've talked about just kind of ways to reach more people and connect with more fans. So with things as YouTube channels, and I have a lot of people that we're connecting with and doing things like that right now. But a lot of writing, a lot of new music.
See, we got some people jumping on the YouTube. Rick, you should do a collab with Blacklight.
Yeah, let's do it. Reach out. I always want to do collabs with people.
I think you've seen some of that, and it's been really cool because of the non-existent and or much less rigorous tour schedule that really everybody's on right now, and this giant, and I shouldn't say giant because I think artists by nature tend to embrace new technologies maybe a little bit quicker nowadays than they did in the past. So I think embracing that, the live stream aspect, interacting with fans on social media, utilizing YouTube and stuff. But I think the ability to collaborate, on, do something on Zoom, or he lays down this track and you do some vocal stuff, or what can we do? There's a little bit more time and freedom to do those kind of things, given that, probably not getting the Sprinter van together and hitting the road anytime soon.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the collaborations are really big. I think if artists aren't doing that, they're missing out. I think it's always good to connect with more people and to kind of grow together.
So are the rest of you guys, is everybody down in Austin?
Yeah, everyone's in Austin, not with me right now.
Right.
To be here, but they are, in Austin.
So do you get a chance to rehearse, to do some writing together, or is there some digital stuff that still goes on?
We've kind of been like sending things back and forth at the moment. We got together a little while ago for rehearsal, but not quite that. It's kind of more just a creative, throwing ideas back, and maybe drummer will lay down some drum tracks and I'll lay down some guitar, and we'll kind of just piece it together. It's kind of I don't know, the future.
The future is now, and we're living in it.
Yeah.
You guys had a great descriptive in your biography on your website, which is emptytrail.com, for those of you who are hanging out and watching on all the socials, about it, the Alice in Chains reference. Soundgarden, Alice in Chains was brought up, two of my all-time favorite bands. But you guys there is a real unique sound that has this Alice in Chains element to it, and I'm not sure if it's the harmony, what it is, but I was playing I was listening to Somewhere before we came on. I didn't play it on the stream because they'll shut it down, and then the government comes after you, and next thing you know, I'm doing this show from Rikers, but because that's the day and age we live in. But there is a really badass sound that you guys have that does kind of embrace that Alice in Chains sound to it. It feels like just good old fashioned dirty rock and roll, and I love it. I think you guys got something special.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, that's probably, the biggest two bands is Soundgarden and Alice in Chains. It's kind of always what we could compare it to. So
no, I think
love
it. The sound is, but it's still unique. I think that's the key to it, is that I can hear it but again, being a huge 20 years in radio and hearing a lot of it in my headphones, so you can really hear the sound, but it's something that's unique too. And I think that's a testament to having that very well put together 3-piece. But no, I think Somewhere, I'm gonna share this video on the socials here when we wrap up the show, but it's a very unique sound. And I imagine that having more time to write, and there's also something to be said about being on the road, and you cut your teeth on the songs, and maybe you find something that you like a little bit more, but writing during all of this, I imagine, has spawned some even better sounds, better ideas, as you guys move forward with this new EP.
Yeah, I agree. I think so. And I really appreciate the unique compliment. I take that as a compliment for sure. Totally. I think it's just more time to really think about things. Not too much, but definitely create something unique in that way.
No, I think it's in this day and age in the landscape of music, where for a while, at least until I got out a couple of years ago, rock, the genre, was kind of all flowing in this strange direction, and a lot of things were sounding a lot like each other. But the sound definitely was not of that that great music of the 90s where you had like that the Soundgardens and Alice in Chains and STPs and these bands that would release albums and you would just listen to the whole thing and like, geez, these guys are fucking phenomenal. There was a sound that just kind of stood on its own. It had this individuality to it, but it stood on its own. And then I'm not sure what happened in the last 10 years, but everything started to sound very different than that. This is really,
I think it's so important nowadays to be unique, because there's just so many bands, so much interface. I think sticking out and being memorable is really important.
No, I super agree. I mean, again, having programmed rock radio for a very long time, that became the biggest challenge was like, okay, everybody's starting to sound alike. How are we supposed to not have people believe we're just playing the same band over and over again? So no, I think the unique factor of it, the fact that you guys are 100% embracing that connection with fans on social media, that is, I don't want to say replaced because I don't know that anything replaces the touring, gaining fans that way, but this has been the way to keep yourselves relevant and in the minds of listeners and gaining listeners over the course of what's now been 11 months to flatten the curve.
Yeah, I agree. Always got to be on social media.
And always, but follow the good stuff. Don't fall down the rabbit hole of all the negativity. You got to stay on. Go find some good music and interact with fans. No, so as you look forward to hopefully some opening up, some getting back out there on the road. Do you guys have any, I would say I'll call them goals at this point in 2021, because who knows if you could set a plan forth in place and have it come to fruition, just given that you could, line up a tour and start to head north and then you get to, Oklahoma and everything's shut down again. But do you guys envision, getting this EP out and then hopefully getting some touring done around it?
Yeah, I would love to do that. Like you said, I don't know how probable it will be, but have a couple friends that would love to support them and go on the road with them. West Coast would be cool. East Coast would be great as well. Maybe do the whole thing, but we'll see, I guess.
You just want to get out of Texas now because it's snowing there, man.
Yeah,
like, it's
no more snow. I see. I'm just joking. I love it. I love that it snowed. It's actually very, very pretty.
How long have you been down in Austin?
I think about 8 years, which is weird to say. It doesn't seem like I've been here this long, but about 8 years.
I think it snowed there before, hasn't it? It's not the first.
It has, but not like this.
No, this is.
I mean, it snowed. I mean, this is just global warming, I guess. Maybe last year it snowed, but it was just kind of a little. It just looked like it was snowing. But now there's like snow on the ground, and it's like I don't know, like 4 or 5 inches of snow, maybe. Yeah, it's crazy. It's I was going to drive somewhere yesterday, but that didn't work.
Yeah, because up here
they don't know what they're like doing right now because this isn't supposed to happen.
Yeah, living up here, we kind of take for granted the fact that when it snows, the snow plows come out and everybody's got a snow blower and shovels and winter gear. We already are prepared, but when you live in an area that is not accustomed to getting more than a dusting, they're like, "What the hell do we do now?"
Like I was going to it just from a gut reaction, went to my car and I was going to go get the thing to for the windshield. And I'm like, I don't have that anymore. Why would I need that?
I don't keep that in the trunk anymore. It's not.
Yeah, exactly. It's not supposed to happen.
See, up here in Wisconsin, we always, even during the summer, because you never know. We'd be like, oh, we better keep the ice scraper.
There's not even salt on the roads right now. I guess they don't even, I don't know.
No,
it's crazy.
Have the salt, man.
No slushies.
No, they're not prepared, but hopefully you guys.
I want to go snowboarding now, though. That's the one thing. This isn't Empty Trail related, but.
No, I think now is maybe your one opportunity. You probably got 3 days.
Yeah, right.
It's gonna be nice again. Hey, Rick, I want to thank you so much for taking the time out and love the tunes, man. Love them.
Thank you.
I really appreciate you jumping on and being a part of the show. Let's get you guys back on here sometime. We'll maybe throw down some acoustic jams or something.
Let's do it. Thank you so much, Cooper. Thanks for having me.
Oh, absolutely, man. Rick Lambert from Empty Trail on the program. And thank you to all of you who are chiming in and jumping on and being a part of this. I see the YouTube is lit up. I know why the YouTube is all lit up. It's because when you have Blacklight District on, the YouTube fans, they are going nuts. What's up, my brother?
What's happening, bro? How you doing?
Good, doing well. See, I mean, I've had people on here. I'm not sure where. I'm gonna try to find.
Yeah, I actually forgot to send it out right now, so I'm just gonna like tweet it out. And yeah, man. And by the way, I know Rick from Empty Trail who was just on here, so shout out to him.
Yeah, Rick reached out to me directly on Instagram, and I think I'm not sure if I reposted something one of our last podcasts, but he was like, "Yeah, we love Kyle, man. Love to be on your show." So that was, pseudo
Dude,
thank
hell
you
yeah, man.
that he jumped on. They're down in Austin, Texas, and they got like 6 inches of snow. They don't know what to do with each other. They're like,
I heard, man. Yeah, dude, that is so crazy. That is so crazy, man.
No, man, we got people all over jumping on this. Somebody here said they got to be overseas because it's like she woke up at 4 a.m. to wait. So it's definitely not 4 a.m. here. So overseas is watching.
Oh yeah. Shout out Cubing too. I think that's what the name said. Yep. So again, man, first of all, I have to say thank you, Cooper, for having me on. It feels good. As you know, I am freshly home, and this is like the first thing I've done related. So man, it just feels good to be back. It feels good to know that the fans are still there. I did a live stream like one of my first nights back out. We'll get into that, but it just, man, just the support and it's an amazing feeling, man, for sure. So
I imagine it is, man. And I'm glad that you're back and you're home and you're healthy and you're, doing all the good things. And how you feeling good, feeling like you're in a good space, good place?
For sure, man. It for those that don't know, and we did the podcast, a year and a half ago or sometime. And that was the first time I had kind of talked about my addiction. Mm-hmm. But even then I was still kind of scared of it. And even after I did the podcast, I didn't want to share it because I was nervous that people would hear it. And, I wasn't really ready to admit that. And you know what I'm saying at the time. But again, man, yeah, I mean, I do struggle with like addiction and things like that. And it's been a big part of my life for a long time, from, drinking all the years on the road, which led me to pancreatitis 3 times, admitted into the hospital, which turned into a full blown like opiate addiction. And so, yeah, I'm literally 40 days sober today, fresh out of treatment. And dude, I couldn't be feeling any better, man. Positive mindset goes a long way,
Absolutely, man. And good for you. And I know that, yeah, that podcast was one of my first ones when we launched the long form show. You were in town doing a show with Rick and the guys from Adelaide's Way, and it was one of those things that we'd kind of talked about before we started recording, and then I think over the course of 45 minutes to an hour, we kind of opened up and you had a chance to talk about it, and it is, and I think that's one of the things that you always have to live with it. It's not like, oh yeah, I went in and they turned the switch off. They reached inside with the special key that only like 4 people have, and then they turned it off, and now I'm good.
I love it.
It's something that you live with on a daily basis. And I think, when you're and you were flying high on success, and things were taking off the YouTube. I mean, you got like all the plaques and stuff, and things are just are kicking ass and taking names, and then you kind of go through this whatever the fuck 2020 was, and now it's 2021, we're like, oh, it's still happening. But but dude, I know that going through those kind of things, and then and finding clarity again, and your positive mindset, that's one thing I will have always said about you since the first time that we met, is that there's always this, no matter what you're going through, you've always had a positive mindset about it. I think that's so key to the success and continued success that you're having.
Absolutely, man. And you said it best. It's like, even when you're in a treatment center, they tell you, look, you being in here for 28 days is not going to cure everything. Fortunately for me, this time I went to what they call like a dual diagnosis place, where they address like substance abuse plus all the underlying issues, mental health, blah, blah, blah. I'm not going to bore you with all this, but again, it's just, versus like a traditional like 12-step AA type thing, like they just really dive in. And I think for the first time, like I've really, like recognize that there are these issues that I have growing up, childhood, everyone's different in that way. But, and again, man, like, you know, they say it doesn't always have to be like when someone has a relapse, it doesn't always have to be, oh, something bad happened or this and that. For me, it was just good things kept happening.
Mhm.
And I kept feeling like, well, shit, I want to like celebrate. I want to, you know, again, it just goes into that whole mindset where you start justifying things. But yeah, man, honestly, I've been home like under a week now. I already have probably like 8 songs, like fully demoed. Some I was literally tracking vocals right before I got on here. I wrote a whole album while I was in there. And man, I just can't stress enough how good I feel. Again, how grateful I am to have the support of my fan base still there. And just the fact that, like, you know, the world is literally ours, mine, yours, anyone's for the taking. If they want something, they can go get it. And man, like you said, the positive mind, bro, that's key for me, at least, for sure.
Yeah, I want to talk about new music and having that opportunity to write and get some more stuff down. But we got the people jumping on here. We got Miss Diamond. She says, "Hi, Kyle."
Hello, Miss Diamond.
Something else we got here. Make more videos with
Rainimator. Yeah, that's my Minecraft partner. So I see comments like that constantly. But yes, for sure.
So proud of you. A lot of people sending out well wishes and a lot of blue hearts we got going on here.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. And again, man, you know, like that stuff, you know, just the support of the fans, not even just the support, but just the connection I feel like I have with the fan base. That means more to me than anything, because that's one of the hardest things to get nowadays, you know? And again, that's why I wanted to be so like much more open this time with the stuff I'm going through, because again, it's like, I want to have that connection where people know I'm always being as genuine as I possibly can be. And again, if even me like telling my story or whatever helps like one person, then I feel like that's a positive thing, you know, aside from the DMs I get on a daily basis on Instagram or Twitter or whatever it is, where, you know, people will say, oh, like Blacklighter Kyle, like, man, your music has saved my life, or you helped my mood, or I'm not as depressed. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like those things are just amazing. So I just can't stress enough how grateful I am for it, for sure.
Having some time away in writing, you know, how, because it's always been a part of who you are as an artist and as a human, is that writing element. But having this time to write, how much clarity is brought on by the fact that you can put pen to paper? There's no distraction. There's nothing else going on. It's just you and your thoughts and your pen and the pad of paper. Or you're probably more technological than that. You're probably like typing things out on,
right.
You know,
but, well, it's cool because, you know, where I was just at, I literally had to use pen and paper. Okay. And I had my acoustic guitar. So for the first time for me in a long time, yes, like nowadays when I go in, like I start everything on a computer, you know, all the tracks, everything's like programmed, easy, simple. So it was kind of actually refreshing to go back to literally an acoustic guitar and a notebook. You know what I'm saying? Like how you kind of first start out. And man, like, so the first part of my stay was like what they call like the detox phase, which was a nightmare for me. You know, so, but during those times I did write a lot. And that was when I really feel like I was like letting all the feelings out and just being straight up, you know? So, and then like the second half was when I kind of got like stabilized and kind of got back to normal, you know, just kind of reflecting on all the stuff I've been through, not just like the addiction, but just life. You know, I mean, we all have our story and our journeys that we've been through. And yeah, just to reflect on that. And again, man, just to be healthy for my family, my wife, my kid, my career, like it's so important. I think I had to come to the realization that it's like, look, like you are a 30-year-old man now, you do have responsibilities, you got a family, you got a dream career, like why, you know what I'm saying? And it's like, you just, again, you take for granted, especially me, like going through like the withdrawals, you know, is like, man, you just take for granted being able to get up and walk across the room feeling normal. And like, again, you know, I don't want to get too hardcore, but like I've been hooked on what they call like fentanyl basically for like the last long time. And that's like, I mean, sure, you hear about it in the news. I mean, that shit kills everybody, you know? And like, again, if there's ever a place I consider hell on earth, it's withdrawing from that. It's about as close as I've ever experienced, man. And again, it's a vicious cycle that just repeats itself over and over. And, you know, I'm just glad there's more awareness. Again, if I can use my platform to bring just a little bit of awareness to that, then I'm happy. I don't want to become one of these guys that just talks about recovery 24/7. Like anytime we talk, it's got to be that. That's not me, you know, but I just think early on here, it's important for me to embrace it, basically. You know what I'm saying? So that's why, you know, when you and I talked about doing this, I was really happy for this to be like my first interview back out, and just that I could bring that up, man. You know, there's a lot, but again, there's a lot of music, there's a lot of great stuff coming up. So I'm just happy to be here, bro. Hell yeah.
Dude, I'm as happy as you are that you're here and that you got that smile back on your face.
Yeah,
and,
baby.
you know, getting that writing, getting that out, that, all the things that go through the mind and then come out through. And I'm sorry, I made it sound like you like have a feather pen and you're like writing by candlelight, like this, like you're writing the Declaration of Independence. Well, I was writing, it was like archaic, but to be able to get, to get back into your studio, and I imagine after being away, coming home last week, having all this music just inside of you, just waiting to get out, and having to do it in a way that you haven't done it in so long, with the acoustic guitar and a pen and paper, and relearning that process of putting a song together. How good did it feel to get back into your studio and just let it rip?
Oh man, it's still like to this day, I can't compare the feeling to creating something new, you know, especially after doing it the way I just did it, where again, even going back to the paper and pen and guitar, like what I did when I was a kid, like just it felt new again, you know, like I think for me, for the first time in the last couple of years, like I had such an excitement, and like that fire was just back, where I was like, wow, like why have I been missing out on this? You know, really, like the last year has just been on autopilot for me, because, you know, fortunately for me, I've had some records do really well, and it kind of does its thing. And again, trying to write, trying to do this, but kind of doing it half-assed, and really selfishly more caring about how I felt all day versus how anyone else or anything else in my life felt, you know. But man, just again, the second I walked in here was just like, oh, like I'm back. You know, again, it's like you've been away for so long, but then it also feels like you've never left. You know what I mean? So I feel like I'm right where I'm supposed to be. And again, like every artist says this every time, like, yes, this next album's going to be my greatest piece of art and legendary music ever. Right. But I truly feel like I am writing some of the best music in my career, especially in terms of like lyrically telling stories, being more consistent with lyrics. I mean, again, as I grow older, I find that stuff is more important now than just being like, all right, let's just get a banger and a heavy track and this and that. Like, I want it all to mean something and have, because it's my art. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's literally, for me, it's going to be a snapshot of my life if I can look back 20 years from now, or again, for my like fan base, like if they relate to a specific song, or, you know, I have a song called The Struggle that's like 5 years old, and so many of my fans like still to this day like talk about it and love it. And again, if I can just have those songs, even if it's not on a mainstream global level, like if my underground fan base, which is quite large and I'm grateful to have it, if they connect to it, man, like again, to me, that's the biggest victory, because again, hardest thing to do nowadays. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and for you being, your own artist, you have the control, you have the capabilities, you don't have to, and you never really have put yourself into a particular lane, and you've never been forced to stay in like one lane and to do this one thing. You've always had this capabilities of doing things, a little, different than other artists have done it, and that has brought you success. It is brought you, like you mentioned, this let's not sugarcoat it, in a very large underground following of people, but you don't have any constraints on you. If you want to do a song that sounds like this, you can do a song that sounds like this. If you want to do a banger that sounds like this, is a little more aggressive, you can. And you have, I mean, that has to be the most freeing thing in the world, is that you can be you're your own artist. And what has transpired over the course of your career is that you've picked up this following that's like, yeah, we want Blacklight to do him.
Yes.
And whatever he's doing sounds right. It feels right. It hits us in the right spot because it comes from you, because it's your art.
Dude, 100%, man. And that was something I was always so worried about, coming from the rock world, which, I went through a little phase where I was like, I don't know, I felt like it was almost too dated, or I don't want to be associated as just being a rock guy or a metal guy. And I kind of went through that phase. I'm way over that now. Like, I totally embrace it. But that was one thing, making like a few rock projects early on. And that was kind of what I got known for, and when I had a band and things like that. And then, a couple of years later, to do stuff that maybe was more, I don't know if you want to call it hip hop or pop or whatever they call it nowadays. So I was kind of worried. It's like, well, you know, some people, because I get it. I mean, if I was an Ozzy fan, which I'm a huge Ozzy fan, and he put out a rap record, I don't know how I'd react to that. You know what I mean? So you have that thought, but
Right.
the first time I put out a song that was different, and like just the audience embraced it so much, and that's kind of where I learned that yes, like when you have a following or a base like that, like they want your art, and that's almost how I approach it nowadays. It's like, look, when I go in and write a song, I just want it to be the best song or the best piece of music I can create, regardless of the genre. If it's metal, if it's rock, if it's rap, if it's whatever, as long as it's good, I feel like the fans are going to follow. And what's awesome though is that like I swear to you, man, like what I'm writing right now, there's some epic stuff in here, but there are these 2 tracks that are the hands down heaviest, I'm talking metal tracks I've ever done. And dude, it feels so good. You know what I'm saying? Like it just feels good. Like you said, the word freeing comes to mind really, you know, when I think about it. So again, man, it's just so exciting. Like I'm so excited for the future and the near future. Like there's a lot going to be coming up. You know, I'm just kind of putting all the pieces back together, but a lot has happened in under a week. And my team is incredible. I have an amazing manager who's like helped me out through all this. And my wife who works at AK-19, which is the label, and just everyone involved in my organization. Like there's a lot of exciting shit coming. So yeah.
What I love about you is that I think one thing that gets lost on a lot of artists, and I think you kind of referenced it when you talk about being in that rock genre, that metal genre, that you can feel, and some bands have felt this way, but then they just kind of kept going down that lane. Is you're a rock guy, you're a metal guy, and that's what you do now. Right. And what I think I love about you, and there's a handful, maybe there's a handful of other artists that are kind of in that same world. A lot of them independent, a lot of them have control over their own stuff, and that's why they're able to do it. But which you understand, and I think because of some of the things you've experienced in your life, not every day is
exactly.
Some days you want something different. Some days you are in a different mood. Some days the weather affects you differently. Human beings go through different emotions, different feels. They're not always in a particular mood for a type of music. And I think what you've been able to do is embody that, as you can do something that's super heavy, you know, the early stuff, With Me Now.
Yeah.
And then you can feel something else a different way, or find a beat that you're like, fuck, like I want to do something with that. Like that's hot.
Yeah.
And you're able to it's not even that you're changing who you are. It's just a part of your arsenal is this different vibe, this different feel. And then you can go back and you can go back and you can try something else. That's the one thing that I love about the music that you continually put out, is it isn't like, okay, I'm going to get this one emotion. You're going to get a whole, you know, color wheel of emotion and feeling and tempo and beat. And it's just, I mean, that is who you are as an artist. Is you're not in one lane, you're in all the lanes, man. You're just running the whole damn highway.
And man, you said it best, you know, like it's hard to just be in one lane all the time, for lack of a better term, you know, one route you have to take. And again, it's like that to me, again, part of me just growing and evolving, not just as an artist, but as a person, was to stop putting up these walls and boundaries and saying you can only do this. And I think early on, the thought for me was, you know, I think you and I have talked about this a few times, of how, you know, maybe some people will say rock music is at its like lowest form of popularity ever. And I guess growing up for me, I just always had aspirations of being like a big mainstream artist. You know what I'm saying? And I think for a while, I just felt like if I just stay here, there's a low ceiling on where you can go. You know, I'm not saying I feel exactly like that right now. I guess that's just how I looked at it at the time, you know. But now, again, man, as things continue to change and continue to evolve, I mean, obviously the internet and Spotify and all these things have changed the music industry. A lot of people complain about Spotify. In my opinion, Spotify saved the music industry and brought it to record numbers of revenue ever. You know, billions of dollars are being made right now a year in the music industry. More independent artists than ever are making full-time livings because of platforms like that. But I get both sides of it, you know, from artists who came from selling 10 million records or CDs. I mean, it's a totally different game, but I think it opens it up even for doing this podcast right now, the platforms we're on right now, whether it's YouTube or Twitch or Facebook or whatever, like it gives us access. Again, me and artists, you, like whatever, whoever the creator is, right? It gives us access to a worldwide audience. Yes, we still have to figure out how to get it to them, but it opens that door up. You know what I'm saying? Whereas back in the day, that was way harder to do, or way harder to even get in the door of having access to a global audience. You know what I'm saying? And again, when it comes to the music for me, that's why, again, I just try to make the best song I can, and hopefully it resonates and it does its thing. Someone said, I hope you make more Rainimator videos. Those are those Minecraft videos I do. And again, some people can look at that like, yeah. And even when I first started doing them, again, I was kind of like, well, like embarrassed almost to say it. But again, nowadays I embrace it because those Minecraft videos blew me up and gave me this fan base and brought all these fans over to now where Spotify has become my biggest, you know, I guess revenue stream or whatever you want to call it. Like, you know what I'm saying? So it just shows that if you can get somewhere from another platform and helps bring people over, like, again, what's different of that than being on the radio? I'm on another thing that people discover me on and brings over to my channel or page or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, again, it's all good. I don't think there's anything negative to it, you know? And again, for all aspects of like digital entertainment, you know what I'm saying? There's just so many ways out there. And again, thinking outside the box, that takes you a long way too, you know?
I think that you nailed it with this. I mean, the Spotify thing, even the social media platforms, is the people that really complained about it ruining the music industry were those who were stuck in the old cog, the old ways of how things were done. And really, I mean, you talk to even an artist that's on a label, they go, well, yeah, I'm not sure how the math works, but we've sold X amount of records, and you know, the check came, and I'm not sure how the math works out, but it feels like, you know, so the record labels are the ones that were like, well, all these people are just yelling at their robots to play an artist, and the robots playing the artist from like that. You know, it doesn't fit in the structural box that was how records, radio, airplay, tours, all that stuff worked. And even though it has become this, not quite the Wild West, not quite, but but now you
in
have,
a way,
it's a little,
for sure.
There's less gunfights in the streets, but you know, we're probably about 5 months away from that happening anyway. So who gives a shit? Let's just let somebody live stream it, you know, whatever. But I think that what it did is it opened up, and especially for a guy like me who did, you know, 20 years in radio, part of the machine on a smaller level, but I discovered more music, better music when I got out than what I was being, you know, fed over the course of 20 years. Because if you've got a song, if an artist has a song, and it you can get it. I mean, people can hear it if you're doing it the right way. If you understand kind of the back end of, okay, well, I know I need to be on this platform. I know I need to be on this platform. And you can maximize and be in control and not be like, okay, Blacklight, we're going to fly to LA tomorrow because we need to write the last song of the album, and it needs to be 2 minutes and 49 seconds. We want it to sound just like Imagine Dragons. You know, if we can make that happen, like there's none of that shit going on, because those who ruled the roost in the industry are still behind the eight ball trying to figure out, okay, how are we going to maximize this? How do we create the next big thing when the machine is open, and it's open to everybody, as long as you have the internet.
And you know, real quick, there was, I can't remember where I heard this lately or recently, but someone said that with the way it is nowadays, because of all this different stuff, it might be harder, like, let's say for any genre, let's just say a rock or alternative act, whatever, it might be a little harder to become that, like, you know, like Imagine Dragons or some sort of huge household name. But again, the opportunities are much bigger and much more open to more people. You know what I'm saying? Which I think in a way can be a good, looking at outweighing the cost of the versus the benefit. You know what I'm saying? You know, but I think that's a good thing. And again, I get both sides of it. People that come from the day, again, like when you're selling millions of records and people are making millions and millions of dollars and you know exactly how much you make from it. I understand that. I get it both ways. Like you said, though, you know, there's so many artists and songs I've discovered over the last few years that I would have never heard on the radio, and things that that have been amazing. You know what I'm saying? Like when you look a few years ago, that song, that Old Town Road, that was so huge, you know? Yeah, it's kind of funny to think about now and even at the time, but a song like that just starts on a platform like TikTok, and before you know it, is like the fastest song to ever go diamond, which is 10 times platinum in like 8 months. Like that's like a record, like set, you know what I'm saying? And so again, there's just so much positivity to it that, man, like, again, I fully embrace it. I love it. And I can't wait to see what's coming next, man, you know?
And I think you and I would probably agree with it, but you know who had this, you know what genre had this all figured out before everybody else kind of jumped on board? Hip hop.
Yeah, exactly.
Dude, those hip hop artists have had this game figured out, because as difficult as it is just in, say, in rock radio or alt radio, even pop radio, for a straight up hip hop artist to get played on any of those, especially on a pop format, it's a tough game to play. But they figured out, wait a minute, if we shoot a video or we do an album in somebody's basement, we don't need to have, we don't need to be the next Imagine Dragons. We're making bank over here, doing music how we want to do it. They, and collaborations, and just like,
so much.
Drop this on my, and they embrace that whole, like, here's how technology works now. Here's the beat. I'm going to send you, you have a verse, lay it down, and then we'll collab, do a video. Like, they had it figured out. Like, they're like, yeah, like what why is somebody jumping on board? Like, we've had this figured out for a decade at least.
Yeah. And that's the thing too. And again, in the last couple of years, and I think that's one thing that really inspired me to be more open to other genres and other styles, was seeing so many of these hip hop artists that I had never even heard of, never heard on the radio, never got played on the radio, getting platinum records, getting #1 singles, like, where I was just, my mind was blown at literally some of these 18-year-old kids who record in their bedroom or their basement or whatever, put out these songs, and it's, top 10 on the Billboard Hot 100, 2 times platinum, and it's never got played on the radio one time.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It blew my mind, man. And that was where I started getting into, like, whoa, like, there is another avenue to do things. Because I think for me, like, just coming in, man, I was not going to take no for an answer. Like, I had to make this happen some way or another. You know what I'm saying? And I think the ones that want to make it happen, they will make it happen, even if it takes a long time, because it's taken me a long time to do it in any form. If someone wants it bad enough, it will happen, given you put in the work. But again, to see things like that, like, just the fact that you can achieve so much with so little nowadays, I think is such a benefit to this generation. You know what I mean? And God, who knows where it goes from here? I've heard of talks of, and I think they did this a year or so ago and might do a lot more, but Spotify is actually doing deals with artists now where they'll sign with Spotify, and then they got the whole machine behind them with all the playlists. I mean, that sounds massive. You know what I'm saying? Like, when you have a platform like that, that's actually behind an artist, like, wow, you're going to get that in front of a lot of people,
Well, that's what, they did that with Rogan.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, exactly.
$200 million contract.
Unbelievable.
To get the biggest podcaster exclusively on their platform. And what did he, and again, this is really cool. And I think it lends itself into giving the artist control a little bit, is because Rogan went in and he was like, you got to do video. Like, this can't just be, you releasing the podcast. Like, you got it. And they're like,
I just watched his video about that specifically, like 2 days ago, about how you have to do video, because that's how you create those viral moments,
Yeah. He mentioned specifically, he's like, you don't have the viral moment of Elon Musk smoking pot.
Exactly. Yeah, I was just going to say that. Yep.
So here you have, like, Spotify not only offered him the contract, going to their tech team and saying, like, in 3 months, we need to develop a way for this to be not just an audio player, but also to have the capabilities of streaming video, which is genius. If you want to just listen, you can. If you want to pop up the video, you can. I think it's genius. So I think that may have been the, So,
because I'm even seeing in some playlists right now, track, and then you click this track and it opens up a vertical video of the track. And it's just, dude, it's amazing. And again, going to like the Joe Rogan thing, like think about that. Like the fact that this guy has a bigger audience than any TV show out there right now. He started on his YouTube channel or wherever it was, and just went and went and went. And before you know it, I mean, it's unbelievable to me, man. And again, that's the perfect example of something that just grew an organic fan base over, because he's been doing the show a long time, right? I don't know exactly how long. I would assume a decade or so or more. Maybe I'm wrong.
1,700 episodes.
Oh, wow.
Break that down by, even if he does, I mean, he's not doing one a day necessarily.
Right.
I mean, but he started off as kind of a joke. He was like, yeah, we're going to do this thing and maybe it'll work. And we'll talk to comics. And it's really been cool to see, from my perspective, is in radio, it was like the thing that like, it's not going to be a thing. Like, no,
right.
We don't need to really worry about it. And all of a sudden, as I was getting out, they were like, shit, we need to start podcasting all of the shows, and we need to figure out ways to monetize all this stuff. So it's really been cool to see. And now, I mean, it's led me, and people like you inspire me to go, okay, how can I take what is really started off as just an audio-based podcast and turn it into something that has many layers to it. So we started live streaming it, 6 months ago. And then I finally got to the point, I'm like, why am I not doing this every day? So we started the live show, a week and a half ago, and 3 hours a day talking shit and acting like what's going on in the world. But the platforms are there. I mean, my numbers are going up. People are starting to pay attention. It's like, well, this doesn't work 10 years ago, because this isn't accessible to everybody. And now you absolutely can start something. I think that's, for you as an independent artist and one who is going to do things, nobody's going to stand in his way, and you're going to do it the way you want to do it. I mean, you've already, dominated YouTube. The next, who knows what the next platform is? I mean, things are just new stuff every day. The old is kind of getting a little faded and it's kind of rusty and it kind of sits in the back a little bit, but there's new stuff out there every day, and people are jumping on. Thank you, by the way, to everybody who's jumping on YouTube and Facebook right now. We're having a great time.
I had to go on here just to give a shout out to my man Sergeant Willie. He's been an OG for a while. Again, Miss Diamond, Melissa Wilson, everyone on the chat. I appreciate you guys coming on. But dude, I mean, that's so true. Like the TikTok thing has been like the big thing in the last 6 months. So probably about, I don't know, 3, 4, 5 months, whatever it was, sometime last year, I started talking to some people, like some influencers, as they call them on TikTok, who I had, a few big pages used one of my songs. Before I knew it, within the first month, I had like 15 million views on the song, like just out of nowhere. And there again, I see the Spotify start going up. Like you can just see these direct correlations from all these different platforms that bring fans and listeners and new listeners to discover you. And it's just, I love it, man. Like I really do. Like it just, man, and again, I wanted to mention this too, because almost a year ago, I put out this song called Falling. And so the song came out. It was one of my favorites I'd done, because it was kind of rock. It was a little bit of everything. And, a few months in, we did the Minecraft video, which got up to number 3 trending on YouTube, which was my highest chart position on there. Song went top 30 in 10 countries on Apple Music. Then I started working it to rock radio. The song got to number 33 on the Billboard mainstream rock chart, almost top 40 at Media Base. But I was more focused on the BDS side of things, because I like that Billboard chart position personally, because that's there forever and you can blah, blah, blah. But so that was awesome. A good run at rock radio. Some stations were like, well, I don't know. You know how it goes, I don't know if you're familiar with Scratch and Sniff. They do they're like a syndicated show. They have a rock show and an alternative show, and they basically like remix the songs, or like songs will go right into the next one. And they were on like 60 stations, and like 25 of them were like these major iHeart markets, like Dallas, San Diego. So I started getting all these spins over there, and in the alternative world, which was the first time. And then a few months later, the song just kept going and streaming. And then there's a channel on Sirius XM called The Pulse, which is a pop channel, literally playing Taylor Swift and Post Malone, and they added the song. And that was like just a whole other medium for me to be introduced to a whole other audience now, you know? So the cool thing for me was seeing the song go top 40 on rock, start getting some alternative play syndicated on a national level. And then I think it was like whatever it matters, but number 54 on the Hot AC chart, which is, you know, hot adult contemporary pop music, basically. Mm-hmm. So it was just so awesome to be like, wow, again, an independent artist from my basement recording this song literally in an hour or two. And to see it literally charting at 3 different formats at radio, plus had the big viral YouTube video, had the 15 million on TikTok, had all the big Spotify playlists. Like, it was just like, oh man, it was amazing, bro. Like, again, something like that where people want to sign to a label or they used to or think they do to get things exactly like that. When my team and I, a small little team, we conquered all that shit, man. And again, that's such a good feeling, you know. Just again, I mean, who does multiple format nowadays, especially when you have a song on rock radio? Chances are it's not going to be on pop radio too. Right. But it balanced, you know. And man, I get so excited. I could talk on and on and on about this stuff because it's so amazing, you know.
No, I think it's a testament to not only your work and your dedication to yourself as an artist, but to the limitless potential that's out there without having somebody do the work and take 80% of the money. You know what I mean? Like,
exactly.
Because, yeah. and chances are, who knows, you know, it's, do they even let you use that on TikTok? Cause well, it's our right. Property. So we're not,
right. So, which is ridiculous when you think about it nowadays. Like the fact, not to interrupt, but just, when you hear someone say, oh, I need to ask if I can do this, or I need to make sure I can do, it's like, if you're blocking anything that's going to help you, it just doesn't make any sense to me. Like, I just don't get it. And some people, I still know people like in the industry, whether it's rock bands or whoever, just friends I have that are still like so dated in some of these things. And I just want to be like, dude, what is wrong with you? Like, not literally, but you get what I'm saying. Right. It's like, dude, you just got to be open because there are so many possibilities out there, you know?
Yeah. And I think you're a prime example of that. And something that should be, like groundwork has been laid. You know, they say, you know, if you want to do something, if it's been done before, then it can be done again. I think you've laid the groundwork for how you can get out and be a part of, I mean, to be on a rock chart and to be on a hot AC chart.
Yeah.
Like,
you don't see it in 2021. For sure.
It's not really a thing.
Right. Right.
Just because you are doing it your way. And it's not, I mean, if you have a label, they're like really going to push you in one direction. They're going to be like, here we go. We're going to push rock and we're going to put all our efforts into rock, where you have the capability of saying, well, I just want as many ears to hear this song as I can.
Yep.
And get my music out, and then have people come and embrace what exactly it is that you're doing. I think it's gotta be rewarding to be the guy in the captain's chair when these things are happening and go, yeah, I made these choices and this is the result of those choices.
It's more than a dream come true, man. I mean, even at the level I'm at right now, I've said it 1,000 times, but if I never got any bigger in terms of a mainstream level than I am right now, like, I am totally satisfied, because again, at the end of the day, I get to do what I grew up wanting to do and dreaming about doing. And that's creating music, putting it out, and being able to support myself and my family from it. That's all I ask for. You know, I don't have to be a millionaire. Although when you Google Blacklight District net worth, they claim I'm worth $1 million to $5 million on Google, which is like, damn, I wish. But it's just funny. You know, the internet is a funny place, but man, it's given me a lot. And I just don't know how much more grateful I could be, you know. And even again, Cooper, like, just to come on here and chat with you and, you know, do things like this keeps it fun for me, man.
Right.
Like, this is all like, we're all in a community together in a way, you know. And you know, anytime I can come on here and just chat with you, a guy I've known for many years now, you know, I remember coming in the studio to visit you, you know, you're always so supportive of the music, and the fact that we get to continue that on. And again, who knows where we'll both be in a year or 2 years or 5 years from now. Yeah. Like I said, things can take time, but dude, the more people grind on it, like, it just excites me for the future, because we might be here. Like I said, last time I was on, we might be here 10 years from now, talking the same shit on a totally different level. You know what I mean?
Yeah. On some magical platform where you're just like a hologram. It's like AR and you're just a hologram.
Yeah.
like, oh, he's in the studio, but actually it's just his Jedi hologram. So
Right.
who knows? I mean, we'll all be wearing those AR headsets and just
Oh yeah, yep.
living in a non-reality world, which
yeah, you literally could be sitting there and I could be sitting here, not even on a computer, and just put the headset on and we're in the same room together.
And then
damn, that's crazy. That's crazy.
An idea. Everybody that's watching could be putting it on and they could be like in this, audience.
Yeah.
Dude,
literally.
Somebody, if you're on here and you got the to make that a thing, make it a thing. I know you did post something after you got out last week, and I did see one of the comments on there was from Adelita's Way. I know that and we kind of talked about this the last time I had you on, about your relationship with Rick and those guys, because they are, again, like you, they are just going to do shit their own way.
Yeah.
And I think the comment was back to world domination. Was their
back
post
to changing the game. Yep.
And that's exactly what it is that you do. But it's got to be great to have guys like that. I know many others that had posted on there that are in your corner and supporting and are also doing it in an independent, free of the puppeteer strings kind of way.
Yeah. And man, like that, I have to shout out Rick from Adelita's Way. I mean, he also, has been such a strong support of what I do. And again, we relate to each other on many different levels. That's why, he's very supportive when it comes to the sobriety thing. The first tour I was ever going to do with Adelita's Way was in like May of, it was either 2019 or 20, I don't know. I think 19. Almost 2 years ago now. So, because I had just signed with a new agent who was also their agent, and he was like, "Look, I got you this Adelita's Way tour." I was stoked, man, because I grew up like hearing Adelita's Way on the radio. I know they do big shows, and that was a time when I had like one of these relapses again, and I was like detox and going through all these withdrawals. I had to like pull out of the tour. I was so bummed because I was like, "Great, this is probably gonna my agent's probably gonna drop me because the first big thing I'm supposed to do for them." Like I have to pull out. I thought, Adelita's, I didn't know Rick personally at the time. And I was like, shit, well, if I can do the second half of it, like, let me get through, like, I just needed like 28 days at least too. But anyways, it worked out. I hit him up just on Twitter and I was like, hey man, sorry, I had to pull out. I was really looking forward to doing this. And like the first thing he ever said to me was like, yo, bro, like the health and safety and well-being of someone in your spot is way more important. So whenever you're ready, feel free to come out. You know what I'm saying? And like that right there, we started talking on the phone right after that. He started the tour. I eventually, about halfway through the tour, joined up. I wasn't fully ready, like physically, but I had to do it, and again, from there, like, because again, we relate on things on a personal level like that. And then him being an independent artist and then seeing what I do, there's just so much in common. And it's so exciting when one of your peers, like with addiction, like in the music industry, all these different things, when someone's kind of in the same boat as you and you feel like you're not alone, but we're making major progress and doing groundbreaking things, that's what makes it exciting, So he and I chat a lot about that. He sent me a nice text when I got out. And I would not be surprised if we do something again when this whole COVID thing is over and go back out on tour. But Rick and all the boys in the band, phenomenal guys, phenomenal talents, and killer stuff, man. Shout out to Rick, man, for sure.
Yeah. Good human beings.
Hell yeah, definitely.
Living in Las Vegas, they're still good human beings. I don't care.
Yeah, right.
Man. I'm gonna get some of these comments up here that have kind of gone through as we've been on here chatting. Sergeant Willie T, thanks to Cal's Music, been listening for 3 or 4 years. I was in the front of life with a good start, so we got a couple of good comments coming in here.
Thank you, Sergeant.
Let's see what else.
I do know Sergeant, by the way. He's a regular on my live stream, so nice to see him here.
Awesome. You're feeling it life, but just so you know, your songs are great. So
I don't know if that's a reference to my song Falling and Just So You Know, but thank you very much.
All the songs are great. A lot of favorites. Living in a Nightmare.
Hell yeah. That's some good old heavy ones.
There's that With Me Now reference.
Yep. Yeah.
One show, man.
I actually did a remix of With Me Now at the end of just to put my stamp on it. Because again, the original version of that song was when I had a full band. I kind of had a different guy singing and stuff, and I was on this label and had like a terrible record deal back then. And So again, I love both versions. I just did one just for the hell of it, but the original, some people do consider that a classic, and that was hands down the first song that got me in the business, and I love it. And he also said Wishing Dead. That was one of my recent 2020 tracks. And again, man, it's just so cool to see people that love songs from 7 years ago up to the ones that are within the last year, so it's
I remember
just...
you sent me the With Me Now, the remake, and I was like,
Oh, okay.
Dude, it's fire. I love it.
Hell yeah, man.
No,
Yeah.
I think,
Little different, I mean, obviously had more of the electronic element, but again, in the end of the day, I was having fun,
No, I think, but that's the cool thing about having creative control, is that you can do things like that. And some people may like the original better, and some people may like the new one, but some people maybe had never heard the original and got a chance to hear the updated version. They're like,
exactly.
Oh, that's my jam. So I don't think there's anything wrong with taking something that you created and going, hey, I kind of feel like it could work like this too, and throwing it out there. And no, I thought it was fantastic. Let's see, Melissa's.
I did the same thing with I don't know if you remember, like 3-4 years ago, I had that song Cold as Ice. On my recent album, I did like a hip hop version of Cold as Ice, like just for, again, at the end of the day, fun has to be a keyword in there somewhere. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. I love We Are the Danger. It speaks to me so much. And do more songs like that, please. Like Cold as Ice. There you go. It's a Cold as Ice reference there.
Thank you, Melissa. Appreciate that.
I remember telling you this story about hearing Cold as Ice for the first time. Wasn't from you. It was my son in the other room.
Oh, yeah.
And it came up on a YouTube video he was watching. I'm like, hey, I recognize that. I recognize that voice. Recognize that guy.
Perfect point of the Minecraft thing, man. Again, you have no idea how many like tweets and comments over the last couple of years I've seen of, moms or dads that have been like, my kid walks around here playing your Minecraft videos, and I hear your songs constantly, that now the whole family's a fan. And dude, again, like, it's so awesome,
generational.
It's just amazing. Yeah, absolutely.
This is where it ends. Oh, geez.
That's reference to a demo I put out like a long time ago that doesn't exist anymore, called This Is Where It Ends. So that's pretty impressive. Aaron's Quiet Place. I mean, people dig in, bro. Believe me. Yeah. It's crazy. Some of the things that like these listeners will bring up, or songs they'll mention, that were like literally garage demos that never came out while I had any success, and people like go and find these things, and it's crazy, man.
No, a lot of people interacting. They're talking to each other. More songs. Melissa wants more deep songs. I'm sure you got some deep stuff coming out, man.
Definitely.
I can feel it. I can feel it.
Oh yeah, for sure. Lots of that. Like, a lot of people will say too, there's on the next album, there's going to be something for everybody. But I truly think on my next project that comes out, because again, of it going from hard rock and metal, straight up hard rock and metal, to the more deeper emotional, like poppy or ballads, to the I mean, I'm trying, man. I mean, obviously you can't please everybody with whatever you do, but I'm going to please a good portion of my listeners at least. So I'm excited for that. And again, everyone who showed up on the chat here that's been interacting, much appreciated, you guys. Please stay on, check out Cooper. I mean, he's got amazing shows. I love coming in and checking out a lot of the interviews when I'm scrolling through YouTube and stuff, man. And again, just over the years, your support and friendship, it means a lot to me, man. And again, I just hope we can keep doing this. And again, hit me on Instagram at Blacklight District. And yeah, man, I'm just excited, bro.
Dude, I'm excited for you. I'm happy that you're seem like you're in a really good spot. Like your headspace is clear, and I imagine that with the writing process, the therapy that entails, getting things out, being able to go from something like you said that's going to be the heaviest shit you ever did, and then to stuff that you got the chance to pen and paper by candlelight with an acoustic guitar like the olden days.
Right, yeah.
To be able to go through all those emotions and get that out. I mean, I'm not saying that there is going to be something for everybody, but it feels like just with how you've described the new stuff that you've been working on, there's going to be a lot that people are going to enjoy. And again, as I referenced, people have different moods, different emotions, different times of day, different times of the week, different times of the month, COVID, no COVID, how they feel. I think you're going to have something to fit, every mood for everybody who's been a part of your career and listening to how you've changed the game, man.
Absolutely, brother. And again, the kind words mean a lot to me. Yeah, man, I'm just excited to put out the new music. Like I said, I've done probably 7 or 8 like demo tracks. Cause again, writing on acoustic and notebook, it's not like I just sit down and write a chorus and record that and then work on the rest. Like I actually have full songs. So it's almost crazy to walk in and do a demo and like sing a song all the way through. That's brand new, you know? So yeah, man, the plan is, I mean, there's no official plan, but I would hope that within the next week or two, I get quite a few songs fully done. And then, you know, my manager and I can start going in and planning release. Shout out to Jeff Hansen, who's my manager, by the way. Again, he helped a lot while I was away. You know, so again, we're both just so excited. I truly feel like I'm at like a new place in life. You know, I have no desire in my head to like get high or drink or do stuff that any other time I tried to do this, I kind of always had in the back of my head, well, I'll party again someday, you know, like, but right now I just, again, like you just, when you're in that mindset, you take for granted the small things in life and the big things in life. So just the fact that I can go and work on new music and feel so excited and feel like I really have that passion, like it means so much to me. And that's why I'm so excited for the stuff that's to come. And it will be sooner than later. I'd say within the next month to 6 weeks, there'll be a new track for sure.
Awesome, brother. I'm happy to see your face, see your smiling face. Great to have you back on here. Thank you for the great conversation, great insight. And I'm glad you are where you are, and really excited for the next, I don't know, I got to put you on a time clock now. Let's see, a month to 6 weeks. I mean, here's some,
yeah.
You know how to get
well, you know, I'll be sending it to you early for sure, bro.
get a little taste of the good stuff.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Awesome. But hey, take care of yourself, man. If you ever need anything, give me a holler. We'll get you back on here anytime. My show is always open to you and anything you want to drop. So feel free.
I'd love to do it again soon, man. I appreciate you, Cooper, and thank you again for having me on, bro.
Awesome, man. Take care of yourself.
Yeah, bro. You too, man. We'll talk soon.
You will. All right, Blacklight District right here on the program. Huge thanks out to him, and super happy to get him on the program and all the good news coming out of his camp. Very excited for what's to come. Thank you to all of you who were tuned in on a lot of YouTubers watching today. You know, it's Blacklight's big platform. Thank you to all of you for being a part of it and jumping in the conversation. Sorry we couldn't get to all the comments that are on here, but thank you all. Really appreciate it. And if you subscribe to my channel, we'll have Blacklight back on, and we'll get some magic happening up in here. Also on Facebook, the YouTube or the Facebook page, Welcome to Cooperville Facebook page, and at No Limit Cooper on Twitch. That's where we hang out. We will take a ever so short break. We'll come back and we have more to chat about. Talk about the rest of the week's show. Got some big guests lined up. I want to let you know about that so you can schedule your life accordingly. So we'll take a break. We'll be right back. Until then, enjoy this instrumental masterpiece. Masterpiece? Yeah. And we're back on. Short break. Done. Back on the live thing. Facebook, YouTube, Twitch. Follow on whichever platform. Appreciate you. Thanks to all of our guests from today. Dr. Jay LaGuardia from being on earlier. Great commentary, great stuff about health and staying healthy and surviving winter that everybody apparently is experiencing. I think Florida is the only nice spot right now. Maybe California. But then again, California has its own set of issues outside of snow and cold temperatures. Dr. J will be on every single Monday. So looking forward to having him back on next week. Rick Lamberts from Empty Trail was on. Great conversation. They're down in Austin, hoping to get back on and do some shows sometime soon. They got a great song out and that you need to go and check out on their website. Just make sure I have their website correct here. Emptytrail.com is the website. The music video for Somewhere is out now. You can go check it out on their website. So go do that. And of course, my longtime friend, so happy that he got a chance to be on here and then we had a chance to conversate. Blacklight District. Good on him, man. Good on him for doing his thing, having a chance to do a lot of writing while he was away, coming back out with a vengeance, ready to dominate the world and change the game. He is at Blacklight District on all of the socials and I believe blacklightdistrict.net on the web. It sounds like within the next 4 to 6 weeks could have some new music, as he's already got, what do you say, 8 songs that he has ready to roll. Good stuff. A crazy day and a crazy week continues. We'll let you know that coming up tomorrow. Kyle Woodman, who is running for Eau Claire City Council, is going to be on. He's got a lot of great points A lot of great points. I'm going to give him a great platform to get out and have those conversations later on this week. The lovely and talented Rachel Loren is going to be on. She's going to take a break from recording sessions to jump on the show. Jesse James Dupree from Jacko will be on the show. We have Wisconsin gubernatorial candidate Jonathan Wickman. He is going to be on Wednesday. And I did just confirm we are going to have a Friday party, happy hour, get you bevies. We're going to have all of the guys from Otherwise right here on the show. The Wise Ones Unite. Otherwise going to be here on Cooperville Live coming up on Friday. And we're just, maybe they'll play some songs. Maybe we'll just talk some shit. I'm not sure. But they are going to be on all day. Or not all day, but I think starting at 4 p.m. Central on Friday for a little Wise Ones happy hour with the guys from Otherwise. So a very, very big week. Lot of things going on in the world today. I did find a story about a recent discovery. Archaeologists, I'm always fascinated by that. Like sometimes I'll end up watching documentaries on archaeology and things they find. They find like, tombs of the ancient pharaohs and stuff. And you're like, is this the year to be opening up, tombs, letting out anything worse? But this I did find rather interesting. As I just want to make sure I have the location right of where this actually was. In Egypt, archaeologists announced they have discovered basically a giant beer factory. Okay. In Cairo, American Egyptian archaeologists have unearthed what could be the oldest known beer factory at one of the most prominent archaeological sites of ancient Egypt. The Secretary General of the Supreme Council of Antiquities said the factory was located near an ancient burial ground over 280 miles south of Cairo. The factory apparently dates back to the region of King Namar, who is widely known for his unification of ancient Egypt. So really 8 huge units, each about 65 feet long, 8 feet wide. Each unit includes some 40 pottery basins in 2 rows, which had been set up to heat a mixture of grains and water to produce beer. That was their big discovery. An ancient beer factory from ancient Egypt. Even back then, they were doing things. And then a giant chunk of cheese too. Like, how do you know? Dissect an old piece of cheese just hanging out in ancient Egypt. I don't know. But this is great. I think it goes to show that we haven't, as much as we have evolved over the course of the last, couple million years. Joe knows. I know, right? Probably fermented past, born on dating, and, it's probably a little chewy at this point. But even back then, man, brewing up beer. But as much as we have evolved over the last, millions of years, at least we still have that in common. Like we're still like, how do we make beer? Put hexes and curses on tombs, but also I would like a sixer. If that's at all possible. For those of you on the COVID vaccine front, it does look like the World Health Organization has listed AstraZeneca and Oxford University's COVID-19 vaccine for emergency use. So they have developed now another vaccine. Pieces in place for rapid distribution of vaccines, but they still need to scale up production. So that's the AstraZeneca. I don't know if this is an mRNA. Doesn't really say here what it is, but I don't know. We are living in strange times, my friends. Dr. J was on the first episode of the show a week ago Friday. We talked about vaccines and talked about the standard protocol when you're releasing anything of this nature is there's phases. There's phases of things. Like first you have some trials, and then you have, as much as people don't want to hear it, you have animal trials, and then so on and so forth. What we've done here now is completely skip phase 2, animal trials, and now we're just having what Dr. J called the largest human test in the history of humanity. We're just kind of winging it. Everybody's like, oh, gotta get that vaccine. I'm like, I feel like I'm gonna stand back. I'm gonna take my zinc and my vitamin D and my turmeric and all the other good supplements that are out there, magnesium. And I'm just going to wait to see if people start turning into zombies or not. Because of all the things that really could put a nice cap on top of all of this, I think it's zombie apocalypse. I mean, would there be a better way to kind of cap off COVID? Like, well, got herd immunity, but now we do have the zombies to deal with. I think that'd be fascinating. I think it's that or aliens. I think it's either zombie apocalypse or the aliens finally come down when we continue to fuck things up and they're like, listen, we're going to have a talk because you guys aren't doing this right. And we'll be a part of some intergalactic treaty. You know what I mean? Yeah. Joe knows. I'll take the poison, man. That's right. Joe's on team zombie killer, man. We got to fight the zombies. That's what we got to do. gotta have the, gotta get the right ammo and make sure we can take care of the zombies. But the aliens, though, the whole alien thing that got released, I read this story early on when we were just getting started with the show. And this did come from the Sun, the sun.co.uk. I'm not saying it's a particularly, you can't believe everything you read, but there are some documents in here that look pretty damn official that came from the Defense Intelligence Agency, the DIA for short, to where the Pentagon has admitted to holding and testing wreckage from UFO crashes in a bombshell freedom of enforcement letter shared with the Sun. So the Pentagon now is saying, yeah, we got some stuff and we've been working on it. One of those stories that anywhere else it probably just breezes by you. Probably not even talked about on the nightly news, you know? Lester Holt isn't going, hey, alien spacecraft. Government admits that. They've been working on it for years. They're saying since 1947, back when the Roswell incident occurred. The material they're talking about working with, too, and this is, again, it does come from the Sun, but the documents, I mean, they look official. They are official seals or stamped seals from the Defense Intelligence Agency in Washington, D.C. So they're talking about this material, this debris that they found, and it's some sort of memory alloy that remembers its original shape, so you can fold it or crunch it or crumple it up, and it will snap back into place seamlessly. And this apparently was some of the things that they, had witness reports from Roswell back in 1947. So according to this bombshell release, the U.S. government has had this material and others like it from UFO crashes, and they've been doing research on it, and it could be life-changing. Life-changing. There's been a lot of alien stories that have come out, and I like talking about aliens, man. I think it's like the one thing that we could all be like, well, we should probably get along now. But the whole, and I've mentioned this on this program, the end edition, and it's like I said, I was probably on a Post-it note, like on the back page of the COVID relief package from back when President Trump signed it, that the Pentagon is to release all known findings of UFOs and alien existence in 180 days, 180 days from when that was signed, which I believe was back in December. Just watching my clock here. Soon the info will come out. There was that David Fravor, Commander David Fravor stuff that came out a couple of years ago, and then the videos were released. Naval pilot, I think he's a Navy pilot. They have it on radar. They have it on all their screens. It's picked up by a ground radar, chasing these little things around like 0 to 3 million miles an hour in less than a second. Just stupid technology we don't have. That gets released. The Pentagon comes out shortly after, says, yeah, we've seen these things. And everybody kind of just lets it go by like, huh, okay, sure, aliens, that's cool. Like, you feel like that would be a game changer, right? Like, that's that kind of information being released. You think people would be a little more, I don't know, they'd pay attention a little more. Like, oh, shit, like, so there's aliens and there's been a government cover-up. Not even since 1947, since before that. Roswell was the first one they actually found stuff. They're like, this is alien. Then they're like, no, just kidding. It's not, but what is it? It's an air balloon. It's a weather balloon. Sure it is. And here we are. Stuff's starting to come out. And how does it make you feel? The knowledge. And people are still not believing this. Obviously, when you read a story from The Sun, it's not, but who the fuck knows what you can believe these days. So maybe this is the last piece and last place for good journalism. But how do you feel if that's true? Government cover-ups, all the conspiracy thing, aliens. Now, trust me, there's some shit that's made up. There are people out there making videos just looking for attention. They're like, oh, I saw something in the sky, and you can see the string hanging, and then there's like this like that. Yeah, that's made up. But when the Pentagon says it has some stuff, I feel like we need to pay attention to that. Don't you? I mean, maybe a little bit. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe nobody cares anymore. Maybe we're so like just numb, so focused on other stuff, focused on our own TikTok accounts, watching the latest Netflix series, and we're not paying attention. Aliens are just waiting for us. Speaking of Netflix series, did end up watching, I think mostly all of it, but that Life After Death series on Netflix, talking about people seeing heaven or reincarnation. A lot of talk. Psychic mediums were a big thing on there, and I found this to be maybe the most interesting takeaway from that entire series. There was a lot of them. Some weird things about like these kids, 2 and 3 years old, 4 years old, knowing that they were actually somebody else in a previous life, and then giving names and factual information about that person. And like, no, there's no way. There's no way this 3-year-old knows that he was once a, pilot in World War II. But he's like describing all this stuff. His plane went down, just weird. But one of the big things I took away from it was that, did you know that there is more exorcisms on average taking place now than at any other point in history? That seems like information that people should have known. Like, there's a lot more exorcisms taking place these days. But no, it takes a Netflix documentary to come out and people are like, oh, wow, but why? I don't know. Maybe it's a new way to get rid of the crazy. I don't know. Well, Uncle Ralph probably got the demons inside of him. Calling the priest, giving him an exorcism. Yeesh. It's a little scary. More exorcisms happening now than at any point in history. My mom's on here. Hi, Mom. Very interesting, wasn't it? Weird stuff. That reincarnation, that thing really, that was odd. Not odd, but you're like, interesting. A lot of kids, though. They say that like after a certain age, these kids, like they start to forget the memories of their previous life. But when they're like 3, 4 years old, they're like, yeah, and I was married, and this person was my mom, and this is my sister, like given names. And then the one was, he was a fighter pilot, and his plane, he died in a plane crash, and his plane got shot down. And he's just like rattling off the details. He was stationed here, was married to da-da-da-da. Like, how does this 4-year-old know this stuff? But then as they get older, like they forget. Because they'd interviewed, this was actually a story from a while ago. Then they had the kid on the documentary, and he was like a teen. Yeah, he looked grumpy, so he was probably a teenager. He's like, I don't really remember much. Whatever, it's fine. This is weird, but I recommend watching it. It's a lot of interesting perspectives on the whole "is there life after death" thing. I don't know. It's on Netflix. Life After Death. I think that's what it's called. It's very interesting. What else is going on in the world? President Trump acquitted again. 2-time impeachment champion. Oh, what a waste of money. Like, I feel like we're really good at that as Americans, and more in the government sense of the word. Like, we're really good at just wasting money. I know they said just in security alone for the impeachment trial, which lasted, what was like Tuesday to, I think, Sunday. They're working on Valentine's Day. Gasp. What did AOC do? But $500 million in security, taxpayer money paid for security of the impeachment trial, which is really a giant fence around the White House and the Capitol building, and then security by the National Guard. So, by the way, I still see there's some in a fucking garage somewhere underneath the White House. We haven't figured that out yet. That was a big to-do. There's some still down there. Sorry, we forgot about you guys. Ridiculous. But yeah, Trump acquitted again. No impeachment. Now they're talking about a 9/11 style investigation into the attacks of January 6th on the Capitol. And get to the bottom of it. It was awful. I don't know that anybody's nobody's arguing for it. It was awful. People died. People were injured. Many people going to jail for a very long time. Not prison. I'm sorry. Going to prison. Not just fun jail, prison. Doesn't always end like Shawshank, yo. Doesn't always end like Shawshank. But now, because we have nothing else going on. Nothing. Because we have nothing else going on, time, money, resources into investigating what happened on the 6th. They don't even have to pay me, and I'll tell you. Bunch of idiots, a little riled up, made some bad choices, ruined their lives. There you go. They already got names, yo. They already got names. They know if you were there. Citibank, not Citibank, is it Citibank? It was Citibank. Some bank. It was freely and willingly handing out information of those who booked hotels and spent any money on their credit cards during that time. Freely giving that away to the feds. But my privacy. Yeah. I don't know. It seems like we have some other issues going on currently that perhaps time, money, and effort could be focused on. I don't know. It feels like there's some shit that went down in New York that we should be paying attention to. Maybe. Could be important. I don't know. A lot of the crazy stuff going on in the world. Valentine's Day is come and gone. Low key Valentine's Day. Not much. Chappelle's show is back on Netflix because Dave Chappelle got paid by Comedy Central re-released the show to Netflix. Netflix put it back on. Man, was that show was so ahead of its time. I'm upset at myself for not paying more attention to it when it came out. I feel like it would have made me a better human being. But it was great to catch up on. I watched a handful of episodes, started the season 1. It's great. You get, like, Joe Rogan's on it, like with a full head of hair. You're like, it's weird. The Fear Factor guy. But he's on it. Bill Burr, a bunch of great comedians made guest appearances on that. Still haven't got to the Rick James episode yet, which I'm hoping to get to maybe tonight. I don't know. But it's great to see that back on Netflix. It's just been too fucking cold. It's too cold to do anything. You know, taking a break from running because it was 40 below this morning. Doing some stuff in the house, throwing some weights around, but I have my treadmill is out in the garage, and the garage temperature this morning, at least according to the Jeep, when I turned that on, was still 17 below air temperature. No, I'm good. I'm gonna take a little break. We are supposed to see temperatures, like, it's supposed to be 12 tomorrow, and like everybody's jacked, everybody's excited. Like, it's gonna be 12 degrees tomorrow. It's gonna be 29 on Sunday. People are gonna be wearing shorts up here. It's gonna be great. Most people are laughing at the people down in the southern part of the country that completely covered in snow and have no idea what to do. That's wild. But no, it was pretty much it. You know, a lot of working on the show. Like I said, we got a great lineup of guests coming for the next couple of days. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun. I encourage you all to join us back on here. Did talk to Blacklight District. They want to come back on sometime soon. I know he's got new music coming out, as he referenced in our conversation today. So I think there's just a lot of good stuff going on. There was an interesting story. The daughter of the creator, or the guy who put together the Lombardi Trophy, was pissed at Tom Brady for foolishly tossing the Lombardi Trophy from boat to boat during the Bucs Super Bowl parade on the water. The daughter of the guy who makes the Lombardi Trophy, the guy who curates it or whatever, you know, whatever it's made out of, aluminum foil. No, I'm sure it's made out of something more expensive than that. She was pissed. She took to Twitter, made a statement. You know, that's where people go now to make to make statements about things. They go to the Twitter, talk about shit. I can't believe that such disrespect for the trophy. Come on, relax. Even the Bucs owner defended Tom Brady. He's like, he's got a pretty good arm. He's going to be fine. More sports news here. Marquez Valdez-Scantling is a wide receiver for the Green Bay Packers. Super fast dude. I mean, ridiculous speed. Occasionally will drop a wide open touchdown pass, or did at least during the season. He had some trouble with dropsies previous year. Last year, less, but still some inopportune drops. And this happened earlier in the year. He dropped a fairly wide open, probably would have been a touchdown reception. I want to say it was against Indianapolis. I think it was the Colts game. Not 100% sure. One of the games they ended up losing. You know, they lost 3. Well, 4 if you consider the NFC Championship game, but 13-3 during the regular season. So he drops a sure-handed touchdown. Just whatever. Take your eye off the ball. Thinking too much. Whatever. Just a moment. Dropped one. Started getting death threats on Twitter. Twitter is the dirt, man. It is so the dirt. I can't even. So anyway, he started receiving death threats on Twitter. And you're thinking, like, Packer fans are pretty, like, we're Wisconsinites. We're supposed to be friendly and stuff. And I don't know if this guy, you know, some of these people were like fantasy football owners, what the deal was. But I'm like, what the fuck? Dude dropped a pass. You know, I've gone through the McDonald's drive-thru and gotten a cheeseburger came out with no cheese on it. You know what I didn't do? Threatened to kill the guy in the back. I didn't do that. He didn't do his job that one particular play. So this was again early in the season. And there was a couple other drops, but there were some amazing catches, like things like, holy shit, like this dude is a baller. And he's only going to get better. And he's fast. It's important. Fast on the outside. Great compliment to Devontae Adams. So, but anyway, dude is still getting death threats. The season's been over for the Packers for 3 weeks now. 2 + 1, 3. Still getting people on social media that are threatening him. The original one was back in November. I think that was, maybe that wasn't the Colts game. Maybe it was like the Viking game. I don't know. Dropped pass. Death threats over football game on Twitter. Still has some asshole said, and this is a tweet from somebody else, Bennett Spaeth, saying, why do grown-ass men cry about a couple death threats when they're making millions every year? That's the determining factor now? Oh, if you make enough money, we should be able to threaten your life if you drop a football. Should. So Marquez Valdez Scandling at MVS_11 on the Twitter says, let me break it down for you, little guy, because obviously your level of intelligence hasn't caught up with you hitting puberty. I play a game I completely invested in. No human should ever receive a death threat from a fan who watches for entertainment. Unfortunately, you can't run and hide after saying something ignorant. Just because you delete the tweet doesn't mean it's gone. I'm not trying to bash the guy, just a lesson. No amount of money makes it okay to threaten someone's life. Hiding behind your phone doesn't make you tough. And he obviously screenshotted the guy that had posted this tweet. And then the guy deleted it, but MVS still had it saved. Is that where we're at? This is where we're at now in life? Jumping on to the Twitter of all places to threaten people? Again, I reference Mike Tyson. Everybody feeling like they can just say whatever they want because when they're online, when they're on the Twitter or on Facebook comments or Instagram comments, whatever, there's a certain sense of nobody's going to punch me in the face because I'm behind my keyboard. That's what Mike Tyson's quote is. Everybody's got no fear now. Nobody's afraid to get punched in the mouth for saying things because we can just say it behind our keyboards. I don't get it. And I like MVS. You know, I root for the guy. I mean, I'm a Packer fan. And yeah, he drops a ball and I'm like, somebody else drops a ball. I say the same thing. My instinct after this happens is not to jump on my Twitter and threaten the man's life because he dropped a football in a game. And I was upset after the Packers lost the NFC Championship game, yeah. But threatening somebody's life, telling somebody that it's okay because he makes millions of dollars a year for other people to threaten his life. It doesn't even matter at this point if they're obviously empty threats. It's just the fact that we think that's okay behavior. Not only is it okay behavior, but apparently Twitter thinks that that's okay too. I feel like Twitter may be the most hypocritical platform that is out there. And they're all becoming that way. Like, nope, we're going to let Bennett Spaeth threaten somebody's life It's okay. He's still got an account. We're not going to ban him or delete him or permanently ban him. Probably because he's got 8 followers, but whatever. It's neither here nor there. I don't think I have more than 8 on Twitter anyway. I don't really spend a lot of time on the Twitter, which is more than likely a good thing. Right? Right. I don't get it. I don't get it. Maybe somebody in the comments here can explain it to me, but I sure don't get it. Oh my God. Oh yeah. I'm glad I don't do Twitter. I know. I have one. I think like my Instagram posts link up to it. So I post something on, and it doesn't even really work all that well. It just says no limit Cooper _ has posted a photo. Which really, who's taking the time to go, oh yeah, I'm going to click on that, see what kind of riveting thing I'm posting. Probably my temperature gauge in the Jeep this morning, 15 below zero. Bullshit. Yeah. Twitter is just, it's so negative. And it doesn't even matter who you follow on there. Like I thought I followed pretty like reasonable human beings. But I was wrong. Maybe they're not reasonable. Maybe they are reasonable, but then they end up retweeting something that's completely irrational. And I'm like, what? And I don't have the time. You know, like I'm not going to get done with the show and go and sit on my Twitter and just unfollow people. It's like, I just want to start over. Can I start over, start a new page, start a new account? Then I lose my 8 people that are following me for my riveting content on the Twitter. I don't know. Snooki tested positive for coronavirus. Wasn't she just in a Super Bowl commercial? Was she? I think she was. Jersey Shore? I think she was in a Super Bowl commercial. Why? Like why are we still making these people famous? I don't understand. Like you had your time in the sun, Jersey Shore. I don't think I ever watched a single episode of Jersey Shore. And I'm probably a better human being for it. But she's still relevant enough to warrant a page 6 story about it. She's super scared because she just tested positive for coronavirus. Here's a heads up. She may not be the healthiest person in the union. I don't know how open or closed Jersey is. I think Jersey's much more open than New York is. And maybe she's not in Jersey anymore. I don't pay enough attention to say anything about it. But like, why? Well, this is going to be good. Lynn Wood just doxed Georgia officials to hundreds of thousands of QAnon supporters. Again, Twitter. You can't give people's information out on Twitter. And then, especially to QAnon folk, they're really pissed. They're really sad. They had hopes, man. They had hopes and dreams. They didn't come true. It's not okay. You can't give out, you can't dox people, okay? There's got to be rules that people and human beings actually follow when it comes to engagement on social media. There has to be. But you can't have hypocritical rules, Twitter. You can't be like, oh, this is okay. This exact same thing from somebody with a different political vantage point. This is not okay. We got to take that person down. We got to cancel them. We got to take away their Twitter. And we still haven't come up with a better way. I don't know. Now there's a big thing. There's a big controversy out about Clubhouse, the new social media app Clubhouse, which if you haven't heard about Clubhouse, it's still in beta, so it's really only available on the iOS, so iPhones. But it's really like just audio. So you can, like, Elon Musk is on there. I think Zuckerberg's on there too, which is odd. He's probably just trying to decode it and come up with it, Facebook's own audio only chat. Eric Weinstein's on there. Tulsi Gabbard. There's a bunch of people on there. A lot of entrepreneur stuff, a lot of music stuff. I'm part of a group that goes on there on Wednesdays and talk about artists in different music genres with my buddy Steve Virginia, who was on the show last week. It's really cool. You go on there, you can join a room, and then people are just talking, just having conversations with people about, said topic, any topic. And join, and usually the moderators are the ones that talk. Maybe if you know somebody who knows somebody, you get invited to speak as well. You have a good 2 cents, but it's all audio. But the issue that's being brought up is there's no way of saving that audio. Now, I'm not sure. I think maybe if you did like a screen record thing, maybe with your iPhone, you slightly record the screen, maybe then that captures the audio. I don't know. Possibly that works. But what the naysayers are saying is, first off, it's an exclusive kind of thing, because you could download the app, but you really have to be invited by somebody who's already on there. And then people who are on there only have a certain amount of invites to invite people into the conversation. They're trying to regulate how big this thing gets so it doesn't go the way of like a Gab, where Gab was like all of a sudden the new thing and everybody jumped on it. And the servers were just overwhelmed and couldn't keep up. I think Gab's gotten better. Gab's not really even an app. It's more of like a browser-based social media platform. But the big controversy is now that people can go in these rooms and they can have conversations, and none of it is documented. Nothing's saved. Like, so you can't like save a conversation to listen to it later. You're in it, and then it's over. So the big thing that's coming out is people are saying, well, wait a minute. Like, what if somebody says something that's not okay? We'll never know. Never know who said it. Never know who's maybe spreading falsehoods or... So that's the big pushback now. Now they're getting after the creators of Clubhouse for not having a way to monitor what's being said on the app. Everything's got to be moderated. You can't have total freedom of speech. Now, I get assholes like the dude who's threatening MBS's life on Twitter. That dude should be banned. I mean, again, the dude that probably has 8 followers is probably just going to start another Twitter and be an asshole, and then, start a new email address and but does it now register with your phone? So I think if it's connected to your phone, then you can't. You have to get a new phone number or something, but I don't know. It's weird. Like, dudes are doing that. Like, if you're threatening somebody, threatening life's bodily harm, danger, probably should be banned. But that should be everybody. Everybody who's encouraging or threatening violence of any sort, you should be removed. I don't care what political party you're a part of or what your affiliations are. It should be blanketed across everybody. Everybody plays by the same rules. Okay. Twitter has the upper hand because they are, currently a privately owned company. They get to make their decisions. That's what the whole argument was when they were, all the big tech companies were in front of Congress, was like, well, you're kind of more of a platform for everybody, and you should be regulated as such, as a utility. Because really, if you have the internet, you could have a Twitter, and you could then have a platform to speak. Now, obviously, some people's voices are larger than others. And when those large voices start saying things that somebody doesn't agree with, perhaps you get banned for life. President Trump. For life. Even if he runs again in 2024. Nope, still banned. I'm like, bruh, get off the golf course and make your own app. Do your own thing. What we got here, Joe? Joe, I can't get your comment to come up here. Let's see. Joe says Parler's back up. Oh, there we go. Hello, Aqua Gaming. Parlor's back. They went through some shit. Like there was time they didn't think they were going to be able to bring it back. But luckily they must have found a host that wasn't going to pull them, not Amazon Web Services. Yeah, I'll have to check that out. See what's rumbling on the Parlor. I think it's good. I think it's good to have different perspectives. Jump on Twitter, see the crap that's going on there. Jump on Parlor, see the crap that's going on there. Go to Clubhouse, listen to some people talk. We can't monitor what they're saying. Therefore, how do we know if they're... I feel like we're a bunch of toddlers. Literally. I feel like we're being treated like we're a bunch of toddlers. Whether it's how we interact on social media or whether it's how we handle COVID, if we know how to take care of ourselves, put ourselves in good situations. Like, why? Why are we being treated like we're 4? I had a 4-year-old. He's now 11. He's still alive. He's still doing fine. But I treated him like a toddler because he's a human being. Now that we're older, I don't feel like the government should be treating us like we're a bunch of toddlers. We should be able to interact and chat as adults do. Yeah. 80 subs on the YouTube. Awesome. Thank you, Ariel. I appreciate that. Did not know. Have to check the stats when I get off. By the way, if anybody's on Twitch, if anybody has a Twitch account, you do stuff on Twitch, or you just follow accounts on Twitch, search No Limit Cooper. It's all one word, No Limit Cooper. And give me a follow on the Twitch and on YouTube. It's the Cooperville page on YouTube. And, of course, welcome to Cooperville on Facebook. And we do a lot of stuff on Instagram, too, at No Limit Cooper Official on Instagram and at Cooperville Live on Instagram as well. That's where we let you know about the guests coming up and all the other fun stuff. So you get kind of a preview of each day's show. So that's me using the power of social media for good. Why? So we can have open forum conversations with fantastic individuals, get different perspectives, different point of views. Because why? Because that's what adults should do. It's tough to decipher in 256 characters or 280, whatever it is on Twitter. It's tough to decipher tone on a post. I don't think that she was talking very nicely. You don't know. But if you have open forum conversations and dialogue with people like we try to do on this show and try to interact with those in the comment sections, your 2 cents. We don't always have to agree. It's okay. We've drawn such a divided line in the sand that it's like, I don't agree with you. I don't like you. Like, oh, well, I mean, I agree with you on this and not on this. It's dangerous territory. It's really looking at, the First Amendment. And then like trying to break it down like, yeah, but now, again, threats, that's not cool. That should be a punishable and bannable offense on social media. Doxing. Don't give out people's fucking addresses and phone numbers and stuff. Other than that, why can't we talk? Why do we have to create new platforms just so a different viewpoint can have open dialogue about things? I don't know. We're going to have a lot of open dialogue on the show this week. Still lining up guests for a few days here, but the Wisconsin gubernatorial candidate for 2022, Jonathan Wickman, is going to be on. We're going to do a full hour with Jonathan Wickman coming up on Wednesday. That'll be cool. I just like talking to people. I like getting open form dialogue, open form conversations, having people on, people taking time out of their days to just like, yeah, let's chat. Talking to Blacklight District today. Sorry, Blacklight was on. I know we got a couple of people jumping on right now, but He was on a while ago, but you will be able to watch the video we posted on YouTube. It also will live on Twitch. We'll do clips and highlights on Twitch too, so you can just watch. You can watch just that, or you can watch the whole show. But it will be published, and also we'll share that on the Facebook page as well, so you can still catch up with all the things that were said over the course of today's show. Kyle Woodman is running for city council, and I know he did some campaigning over the last election cycle, and I think he's got his own like marketing company too. Dude's killing it. So Kyle Woodman on, that's coming up tomorrow. Great friend, great artist, fantastic human being. Rachel Loren will be on Wednesday. Jesse Dupree from Jackal, he is coming up this week. Sports genius, broadcaster, podcaster, live streamer, just joined the Twitch. Bill Michaels will be on the show this week as well. And he's had a crazy week. He stepped away from radio for a while and reestablished himself. Found out what he wanted to do with his career, and now he's back on the radio and back doing live streams, back doing podcasts, back doing his thing. So it's been very busy, but try to get him on this week too. And we've been kind of going back and forth, and scheduling's tough. It's tough. Yeah, great platform to get the info out. Yeah, all of it. I don't think there's. I have my problems with Twitter. I think it's become a cesspool of things. Unless, and I mentioned this on last week's Thursday show, I think, if you're like really into sports, Twitter's a great resource. Just want sports news and sports updates and rumors. I mean, you got players that retire on Twitter. Like, hi, I'm announcing my retirement. I think it's great for that. It really has been, like, I used to follow a bunch of comics, like a bunch of comedians, and now they're all like political analysts. I'm like, wait a minute. You used to post jokes and funny memes and shit. Now I got the barrage of hate. Like, but again, I'm not going to take the time to unfollow. I'm not even sure how many people I follow on Twitter. I don't know. Let me find out. Let me pull up the Twitter. I know I have one for the beard company, but I have a personal one. I don't know. Yeah, I don't even know how it really works. I follow 923 people. That seems like way too many. I don't know. But like, I mean, I started it years ago. It's like 2009, I think it says I started. So I was following comics and following my favorite athletes, and then it's just everybody retweeting other people's vomit. I'm like, oh, this doesn't seem like a fun place. I never go in there. I never post. Yeah. I stick to Instagram, Facebook occasionally. Facebook, a lot of sharing on Facebook, obviously with the page. What's up, Funky R? Welcome. Thanks for tuning in live on the YouTube, watching on the tube. YT just got 80 subs, man. Show's going places. It's because I had Kyle on. He's my brother. But yeah, and the show, I mean, the show we stream on all available platforms, except like something was like Periscope. I didn't even know Periscope's still a thing. They still doing Periscope on Twitter? I don't know. But I mean, Twitch and YouTube have become great outlets. Great content, great comments on here today. Thank you, everybody, for being a part of it. And on Facebook, great content, comments, people interacting with the show. That's been great. I want to try to do something with Clubhouse, but I'm not sure. Technically, maybe there's a way, because I do operate the show on a Mac, so maybe there's a way to do it. But it'd be kind of cool to have the show on Clubhouse. But logistically, I have to figure that out. I need an equipment upgrade, like in a bad way. Like this computer's like hanging out. Like, what are you doing 3 hours a day live? 15 hours a week, right? Yeah, math. Ridiculous. But it's been fun. It's been a super fun experience. And I think having a lot of old friends in the music industry on, really looking forward to Friday. Otherwise, the band is going to be on, and we're going to jam. We're just going to have fun. We're going to talk shit. Maybe have some cocktails. I don't know. Have fun with it. But yeah, we're going to talk about other shit too, like this fucking COVID and masks and taking care of yourself and the stupidity of Twitter. Jack Dorsey would like to be on your program. No, he doesn't. Doesn't want to be on here. Has no desire. I don't know. You now reached out to Gina Carano. I said, hey, love to have you on the show. Love to. I want to hear your side of this. That's the world we live in now. Of all the topics that we've discussed on here too, I mean, there's been some things that I know would be considered controversial, and my opinion on them is probably not what the narrative is supposed to be. It surprises me that we haven't been flagged or notified or maybe because I don't check my notifications. Maybe I should do that. You've been, yeah. But that's it. I mean, I could say something on here that you don't like or goes against what you believe is how things should be. And if you're kind of the person that will take it and report the show, that's not really freedom of speech. That's censorship. And I lived in a world of censorship for 2 decades. Not censorship necessarily, but obviously you can't go on the radio, free platform, and say whatever you want. Just kind of say things, make people happy. Go on, play the next song. Shut up and play the hits. Heard that for all of my career. Shut up and play the hits. Okay. Now we don't have to. Now we can say whatever we want. Well, until we get canceled. But again, it's great, just reflecting back on that conversation with Blacklight District, and seeing how he's done things and how he's really done it his way, continues to do it his way, has full creative control, can take advantage of all of the avenues available, whether it's YouTube or it's Twitch or it's Facebook or it's Insta or, digital music outlets like Spotify, getting a song that can cross different musical charts, from mainstream rock to hot AC, pop charts, be on the pulse on Sirius XM. He can cover all those bases because he's doing it his way. He's not pigeonholed into being one particular thing. He can do a lot of things. Like we can have guys like Blacklight District on here, and we can have Dr. J. Lagarde on here, and we can have up and coming bands like Empty Trail come on and talk about how they got into music. And then we can have Kyle Woodman on and talk about politics and policy and what's right and what's wrong and where should we meet? Where should the middle be? Where is there a middle anymore? It doesn't feel like there is. It feels like it's extreme. Like I feel like a lot of us are in here somewhere. Like a little bit of this, like a little bit of that. That's bullshit. Whatever. We can have Jonathan Wickman on, running for governor of the state of Wisconsin in 2022. And have open forum conversation with him. Give him a chance to talk about where he is. And if I agree with him on things, if I disagree with him on things, we're just having a conversation. Then we get to have fun ones. Jesse Dupree from Jackal, known him for so long. I think it's probably been 15 years plus. Jesse and I have known each other. It's always a great conversation, Dude's, again, doing it his way. Doing things his way. It's the music. It's the bourbon. It's other things he's got his hands in. He was a big part of a great program that is really helping, in my opinion, save radio, or at least throw it a lifeline with his mixer project. He's doing great things. Rachel Loren, talented singer, artist, can dominate many different genres. Hard worker. gets after it, does the thing. She's going to be on. All these people, the guys from Otherwise, we're just going to talk shit on Friday. That's it. Doesn't matter. Aliens. Zombie apocalypse. Fun stuff, you know? Positive things. Uplifting things. But it takes all of you. And I'm super thankful for all of you who first time watching the show. I know we have a lot of new followers today, which is all attributed to my great guests and their belief in the show, their belief in me and what we're trying to do here. So thank you all for being a part of this free speech revolution. It's really what it is. It's about just being able to freely speak and talk about things and go through the headlines in the news, and whether it's sports or whether it's politics or whether it's, you know, messy shit that's going on, and we can make fun of it and be like, that's dumb. Because some of it is really dumb. Some of the things that are taking over your social media feeds and the news feeds and the news that's on is dumb. Nobody's calling it dumb, though. They're just like, oh my gosh, I can't believe that really happening. You know, and we're going to dive deep into some stuff. We're going to dig below the surface and do some research into what's really going on with some of these things, because it's becoming more challenging to find multiple perspectives on one particular topic. And it doesn't seem like it's always been that way. You know, I think the news has gone to shit, mainstream media news. And I remember when Trump first came out and he was like, fake news. Everyone's making like fake news, making fun of it. I'm like, well, no, this is reputable news sources. And then you start to like dig beneath the surface a little bit and you go, oh, they are making stuff up. They are playing to one side. And they're playing on the other side in different channels too, but everybody who comes out is like, we are the news source. We're just going to give you the facts. That's tough to find. I think The Hill is a good one. The Hill, I think, is on YouTube, isn't it? Yeah, I think it's a YouTube show. They're giving you multiple perspectives because they have a Republican on it. They have a Dem on it. They have, they're just, here's my thought. Here's my thought. And they get along. Imagine that. Love thy neighbor. Imagine that. But we'll see. We'll see where the show goes. I'm excited about the rest of the week and about the growth. And I thank all of you again for the comment, for the interaction, for the likes. See them up here. I can see them right there. Thanks for the likes. Thanks for the follows. Thanks for sharing. You know, if you like what you see, share it with your friends, and maybe they jump on board too, because the guests just keep on getting bigger. And we're going to have some of our friends back on. Blacklight wants to be back on, and we're going to have him on as much as we can. Dr. J will be on every Monday. Try to establish some of those things. Then we're going to add in some more fun stuff. I have an idea called the fishbowl, because for some reason I have a fishbowl. I think I got my son a fish once. No, my buddy James and his wife Lola got him a fish once, and the fish left for like a day. And we had to replace the fish, but eventually that fish died too. Tragic. But I still have the fishbowl. So a fishbowl, just like random thoughts. I'll just write something down, throw it in there, and then here's the question. Propose to whoever I have on as a guest, and propose to you who's in there. Like, I don't know, why is Big Trouble in Little China the most underrated movie in history? And we can debate. Love that movie. Jack Burton. Love it. All right. That's 3 hours of fun today. Thank you all for being a part of it. Thank you for watching on whichever platform you're watching on. Tomorrow's show, again, as of right now, Kyle Woodman is going to be on. We're going to have a long conversation with him about moving and shaking in the political world, and why it's important for everybody to have a seat at the table, because that's how you create open dialogue and open conversation. And that's how change happens. When everybody can go, okay, I see what you're saying. Feels like we're far away from that at this point. Yes, Joe. That's my out. Peace. So until tomorrow, 3 until 6 tomorrow on YouTube, on Twitch, and on Facebook. We will see you then for another edition of Cooperville Live. Until then, wherever you are, stay warm. Unless it's hot where you are, then fuck off. No, I'm just kidding. You're lucky. You're lucky, and I'm jealous because it's 2 below right now. If you are dealing with any of the fallout from the storms, guys down in Texas were without power. Stay safe, man. Mother Nature's having a little bit of a shit fit. Maybe she's sick of our shit. I don't know. But until we meet again tomorrow, have yourself a great night. Take care of one another, and take care.